Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, episode number 119.
What is with you coming
It always
in so
sounds
hot
perfect.
now?
It sounds so perfect until he hits record. Then he comes in like
You're like
the morning
over-modulated.
zoo.
Yeah.
What do you
Sound
mean
like
over
Watson.
my...
It got a little
like-
loud for a sec.
It's like
Well,
you're
Oh, shit, that bad. Wow. Fuck.
Not that bad.
Sorry, people. I'm excited. What can I tell you? This is the beginning of the show. I want to come in kind of excited, at least appearing to be excited. And this is what's great. This is what's fucking great. Now that we're on Patreon, we don't got to go through that bullshit introduction. None of that fucking professional. Because everybody, literally, there's like 143 people listening. That's it. That's the extent of shit now because of where we are. So we don't got to go through any more of anybody. Maybe this is your first time. Yada yada. We just come on. We say, all right. Hello. This is the show. Here we fucking go. And that's it. So
I was going to do a surprise entrance for the video. I was going to put a big black box there. You weren't going to know who was there. You just ruined it.
Well, cut out the beep. Can you beep when I say?
I will beep. I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's like a beep on your. Okay.
You mean production?
You have to do production.
This poor bastard. So yeah.
Dave, why are we podcasting with this wipe?
Well.
No. Did that
No.
that quote go over everyone's head? Night of Demons.
Oh, man.
Oh, this
Already.
wipe. Yes. Eat a bowl of fuck. All right. that was it.
Yeah, you have to go over the basic ones to get me understanding your reverence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
he-
Happy Halloween asshole, do you have sour balls? Any of those, I would have said, oh.
Yeah. It goes for the most obscure line of the movie.
He digs too deep. He always does that. He's so fucking deep.
And I
that-
changed it to podcasting instead of hanging.
Low hanging fruit. Yes. So yeah, we're pretty excited. I'm very excited because finally, after fucking how many years and how many episodes?
Almost 6.
118.
5.
Not almost.
I'm sorry.
5
I answered
years.
every single one of your questions. 5 years, 118 episodes.
Oh, okay, a long fucking time. That's the bottom line. A long time. I've been trying to get this man on the line on the show, and it's really hard because number one, he was really busy with his own shit, his own shows, not shit. I mean shows. My God, but
Shit.
no. And he was so busy with his own stuff, and we record on weekends, and he has a life and doesn't record on weekends, and I can't blame him for that. That's wonderful. But we finally got him here. My good buddy, my hero in horror podcasting, Mr. Alex Edwards. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome, man.
Good, man. Yeah. No, thanks. Great to be here. I remember I think the first time we ever tried was the Halloween 3 review or something like that, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. And then, I don't know, like it was one scheduling thing after another. And it was never like, I don't know, time just flies. And then you just forget to ask, or the other guy forgets to invite for months, and it just goes just like that. Just like anything. Like people ask me all the time why they're not on my show, and they think I'm like doing something weird. I'm like, oh, sorry, it's weird. You don't think about it. All you think about is getting your notes together and what we're going to do next and this kind of stuff. And you just kind of forget about these things. And it just happened. So I guess 5 years just flew by or something. I don't know.
And you hate Brandon. So let's not forget that. I mean, but that goes without saying.
Well, I wanted to leave that out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you're free now.
There's
I mean,
so many
really,
questions that we have for you. There's so many.
you want to
for-
grill him? Be my guest.
Well, first off, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or Rocky 4?
Rocky 4.
Yes!
Wow. Still, I thought I had a prayer. Okay. Shit.
Oh, nah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
That's actually
he's
the
the
only
biggest-
question.
That'll wrap it up for the question portion of the show.
That's it. Now on to the review.
It was major with him because nobody loves Nightmare 2 more than him. And I know he's a huge Rocky fan, so I thought maybe, because he's a huge Nightmare 2 fan. So I'm like, well, maybe he can say that. And again, I'm at the point now where it's kind of even. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just weird 2 movies anyway. Like, I never really thought about it, but I mean, like, if I had to go with my whole life here, I'm gonna go Rocky 4.
The
What about the
director's
new
cut, he
cut?
fights Freddy for part 2.
Yeah.
That would be great. We're taking out the robot.
Yeah.
We're putting fucking Freddy in. Imagine that.
Yeah, the new cut. I'm interested in that. I thought it was strange with the robot thing, but the robot thing is kind of weird because it's like leave it in because we've already seen it for what is it, like 40 years or whatever, and it's part of like the nostalgic aspect of that movie, and the other thing is like, but then you say, well, why did you even do that to begin with? Because it's like it just makes it so like imagine that robot like going through Rocky's apartment in part one or something. Like it would really take away from that movie, So it's like, why is this here? And then you got to wonder, like, isn't it weird that this never became a thing? Like you would think these like futuristic things in these movies would eventually somehow manifest into our daily life, and it never did. So it was like, yeah, this was just so random, and it's like, all right, I see, like, I get his point of view as a director and the creator of this whole thing. He kind of regrets doing something so dumb, so he's like, yeah, let me just make this a more serious movie here.
I want to know how they're going to work around that. Do they just cut out the birthday scene? Like, I really want to know.
How can they?
I heard Burt Young wanted that robot in Amityville too. You want to smoke? You want to smoke, priest? Give him a smoke, robot.
That would be great if they can do a director's cut of Amityville 2 and put the robot in.
Yeah, put the robot in bed with the sister instead of the brother.
Yeah. This movie's fucked.
The robot delivering those lines. Take off your clothes. Oh, that'd be fucking great.
Let me check your oil.
That's awesome.
That would be awesome.
But would it be the girl voice of the robot? Would it be like a lesbian scene, or would it be the original voice?
The original, because you could change it as we learned in the movie.
Somehow, Paulie of all people figured out how to fucking change the voice of a robot. I couldn't change the voice of a fucking something in an app in my phone in 2020. Paulie of all people figured out how to change the fucking voice. Maybe that's
gender robot.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was way ahead of its time.
Man, I don't know. How can you not have that? I mean, that's one of the best. I get excited every time I watch Rocky IV for that part when it comes out and the lights go out. Seriously? And you see the light come up and beep, 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 and he says, "Happy birthday, Paulie," and the music that's playing, do 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 do. That shit's fucking phenomenal. I love it.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I don't know if I live for that moment in the movie. Like,
I get excited
ahead of like the training montages or the fights. Oh, it's the happy birthday Paulie part. It's got kids. Gather around.
You gotta see this.
Seeing Brandon's face
I know,
actually makes it
too, but look.
The happy birthday Paulie part kids gather. That was funny.
It's great. I loved it. It's great. Yeah, that voice. Yeah, the fucking words that go across it and shit. It's exciting. It's a product of its time, even though nobody had it. But I do believe that now.
It's a product of nothing. It's not
a product of that
fun.
one scene.
If you're filthy rich, you could have that. Like right now, the guy that owns fucking Microsoft or Amazon or one of those fucking schmucks.
He doesn't know any of the names. He doesn't know any of that guy that owns Microsoft and that other schmuck that owns Amazon.
It's a work day. I've been up all day. My mind isn't working the way it usually does. If it was a Saturday show, I would know everybody's name and every fucking
Jeff Gates.
Yeah, just combine them together. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos.
Did that robot vacuum the floor when it walked around, do you know? Did it do anything productive or no? It just talked to people.
It sounded like Rosie from the fucking Jetsons, man.
Oh, that would have been awesome. See, that would make sense. Did it do anything
You can answer
productive?
the phone right here.
Yeah, it had a phone, right? Which is cool. A phone is good to have. What else did it do?
But now it's obsolete. Everybody has a phone.
The problem is you didn't see the cable going all the way down to the outlet.
I am sad, though. I wish they'd keep that. I'm not going to watch that fucking director's cut at all. Unless they take out all the other montages.
There he goes. He's boycotting the movies now. I'm never going back to the theater.
It's only coming to the theater, so Dave's never going to see it.
Until they put the Polybot back in.
Polybot.
Hey, so what? I like to boycott. If more people boycotted, life would be a little bit better, as far as I'm concerned.
That's
people
all
don't
this world is right now is boycotts. What are you talking about?
Boycotting what anything good. Everybody's spending money still. No?
True.
I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm just saying boycotting, like nobody boycotts fucking anything that costs money. They don't boycott going to a restaurant because of this. They don't boycott going to a movie because of how they feel strongly. But it never happens. People talk shit, you know?
Speaking of talking shit, what do you think of Mr. Watson? Alex, like I think he thinks he's the new you with all this production and everything on this podcast. You want to answer
that?
Alex?
Okay.
I think that's great that he's ramped it up like he has. He's better than me. I mean, I wouldn't say he's the new me. I mean, I never had the intellect to ever do a show like he did. But I think production-wise, yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do. I mean, that's what Dave and me realized right away. Is that's how you separate, podcasts from each other, make it sound like something real, make it sound like a little bit professional while you're being an asshole. So it's like you got to mix both worlds really to make the proper product, because it's like your people infiltrated something real, and that's the illusion I always try to create. Like something sort of legit but not really. So I think that's always good if anybody continues in that fashion.
Is it getting through to you, Christian?
It is
getting through to you.
Slowly but surely. Not the answer I was really looking for, but a solid answer. I'll take it.
But it's got to be nice. Isn't it nice, though? I mean, okay, the whole thing about not being a producer anymore, how does it feel? I mean, you must miss some aspects of the show, and the shows, I should say, but do you feel like a weight is lifted, or do you miss it? Is it like an equal thing, or what? How do you feel?
I haven't done like a real thing since June 5th, and then the Married with Children podcast, like the fans of the show, like a lot of the Patreons all got together, and they said they don't want to let the whole vision die and stuff, because we did 7 seasons out of 11, and that took 3.5 years, and they want to continue, so they all formed a bunch, like 3 teams of people, because they said they can't do it all. They don't even know how we did it. They said we can never do just one group of people doing the same thing every week, like a weekly show. So they divided it into 3, and they're all doing 1/3 of the season. And they asked if I could produce the last one I recorded, because we recorded the first episode of season 8, and we're just going to abandon it and leave just season 7 at the end and just leave it at that, because it seemed like a good, end of a bookend. So I had to go ahead and produce one more show like 2 weeks ago, after not doing anything for almost 3 months. And, there was a weird comfort in sitting there looking at the scribbly lines and everything. And, it brought me back to like, wow, this is what I did for 8 years, and it was just like a big part of my life. And like, that was there and everything, and I did it with ease. It wasn't really hard to do or anything, and I didn't forget anything. But, and it wasn't torture, I gotta say. Like, I thought, like, God, I have to do this. I thought that in the beginning. I could barely sit down to start doing it again. But then once I did, I was able to go back 2 or 3 times, because I didn't do it all in one sitting. And yeah, I mean, there's a creative outlet that's not there anymore, And then when I did one show with Michael J. On his Sunday show for Rabbit and Red, and sitting there talking and getting into it again, like it just all came back to me, and it was like, it felt better than ever, and I was like having more fun on that show than I have in, I guess, 3 months. And it was weird, because like once I walk away, I'm able to sort of shut it off and just realize I'm back to normalcy. And then when I was going to come back on here again, it was like hard to think like, wow, well, will I really be able to do this again? And especially like with a whole setting, like all you guys and your established show and everything. And then like, I don't know, once I got on here, I feel good again. So I guess there's always going to be something in me that is like sad about it all, and I don't know if the production is a major thing I'll miss, but like at least doing it, like sitting here and talking.
Well, that, and you could do that. That's the cool thing. You could just show up. That's Dave's MO. That's what he does. You figure after fucking 7 years, some sort of trickle of production would like absorb into his soul, or Brandon for that goddamn matter. Nothing. Have you heard this fucking solo cast?
Oh,
hey, I tried.
You
Fuck
did
you.
try.
Yes, I did hear.
Now I feel horrible because he did try. And failed.
That shit is I failed miserably.
Who was the one that kept editing like all the spaces out of his
That
voice?
was me.
That's a show.
That was
Break
funny.
and don't breathe. It was great. One sentence.
You sounded like that goddamn robot from Rocky IV.
Yeah, we're re-releasing the solo cast, but we're cutting out the Brandon robot. So it's just going to be an hour and a half of silence.
Yeah, at least he tried. It's true. Brandon, I turned on the microphone and I spoke, but I didn't fuck up. It sounds like it was all done in one take when I sent it out, didn't it? Like when I do these bonus shows with my daughter, and I did the other one when we talked about Sinister. We just sat there, turned on the mics, fucking talked. There was no flubs. There was no bullshit. It was a plug and play. Boom, I mailed it off to Jason. And this is what's going to happen when her and I do these other bonus shows about the remakes. We're going to sit down. We're going to do it. And when it's over, that's the end of it. Click.
Send it off to Jason.
Well, not anymore. Post it here.
We still want you to send it off to him, so we never have to hear those.
People want to hear it. People always ask about Frankie. It happens all the fucking time.
They want to hear Frankie more than they want to hear any of the three of us.
True.
Let's be honest.
We're expendable.
Just like the Married with Children show.
Just like Sylvester Stallone and that fucking Paulie robot. Yeah, everything expendable. We're talking about Sylvester Stallone all night.
We're doing the Expendables trilogy.
They're putting the robot in there. He's gonna fight Jet Li.
I've never seen them. They were on sale. I almost pulled the plug. I've never seen any of the Expendables, and they were all on. There's 3 of them, right?
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Actually, they're all entertaining.
They're fun.
They're all entertaining. Yeah,
they're fun. You won't have a bad time with them.
No, I didn't fucking pull the trigger, but they were right there, and I was like, maybe I'll like these movies. Maybe I'll get to it. I just didn't do it, but I'm getting closer. It did cross my mind. But...
Getting closer.
Well, it takes time.
It's like maybe
Part 2 is good.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm a big Van Damme guy, so I really liked him as a villain.
Oh, a villain, huh?
Hey,
Interesting.
I do have a legit question now. No bullshit. And Watson knows that I always have to bring him up and make fun of him. It's a thing of love, I guess, or hate or loathing. I one of the two. But the reality would be, what's going to happen to the show once Horophilia goes? Your feed, everything. Have you put them on a different feed now?
Yeah, we created a feed. Jason helped with getting it all, so it goes on every, like all those different apps. I think I just had to change the pictures, the wrong size or something, but I did that yesterday. So I loaded 2 shows in, and I actually haven't even gone to see if it worked yet. That's all ready. We did the Podbean thing, so
okay. I'm
gonna release all the shows in order, and then once that's done, it should all be caught up. And we're gonna tell people to hop on over there, in the meantime.
TGIF 13, I heard, is going on Chicken Feed.
It's a good joke.
I heard a rumor that on Podbean, if you take your existing RSS feed and put it on there, that you don't lose anything and everything stays. I just heard somebody say this.
It can't be, because you still have to have the actual episode hosted somewhere. It's got to live somewhere. So when Jason shut down Horophilia, that stuff's all lost. So yeah, you could transfer the RS link, but it's linked to nothing because
all
the
our
servers
ratings
are down.
gone. The iTunes ratings are all fucking gone. That's so depressing.
God damn it. Dave's going to be begging for 150 new ones.
That's why I told him there's no point to say trying to get us to 200 because it's all for nothing. Look at his face.
It's sad. No, it's sad because that's the only way someone could discover us that it hasn't already is on iTunes, because it's still there and they'll still listen to the show. And if you have a bunch of ratings and subs, people will see it there. And you know what I mean? Like right now, there's links to our show with a lot of popular shows, more popular than us. So it's like, if you like this, see also this. So we see it in there. Now, if that's not there anymore, people were undiscoverable. I mean, I'm just saying, it would have been cool.
That's our new name, actually, Undiscoverable. The podcast.
It is. Now, do you think we can get 3 hosts to fill in, like he's talking about Married with Children 3 times a year? Instead of the 3 of us, 3 other people come in. Or the Exploding Heads. We're gonna imagine that.
We're gonna get the guys from Exploding Kittens.
Yeah, we should find those in the Exploding Typewriter. You're right.
Exploding Typewriter.
What we should do is get our patrons to do it, because every day someone's talking about starting a new podcast. Right? Yeah. So why don't you guys just fucking jump in and do what we do a couple times?
We'll add a tier. Edit and produce the show for a year. Top tier.
$2,000.
Yeah, $2,000. I get to pay to produce.
And we get the money. Yeah. We'll pay you $2,000.
No.
And we will edit.
Dave, you're ruining it, the whole thing here. I was like, you put it as a tier, like it's a perk that they get to edit this.
It is a
Dude,
perk.
I edited their 137th show. You got to hear it. Amazing.
There you go.
It is a perk.
Honestly, if we put produced and edited by Alex Edwards, I think that would catapult it up.
Well, you know what I would do? If I did produce or edit your show, I would add all those sound effects from the Halloween 5 cop scene. I put all that stuff. That'd be amazing. You guys would get over, I'm telling you.
That's
all
when
you
Brandon's
need.
camera goes off and it comes back and it's upside down all of a sudden.
Amazing stuff.
Me hitting my mic pops thing filter. Can't even talk. No one can talk on the show. Articulation's not our strong point.
Might be a bad case of acid reflux, Christian.
Reflex.
Little joke I'm making, even though it's only for you, because
I appreciate it. Awesome.
Right. It's between these two. It's real.
no,
fucking...
well, you saw it, Dave. He wrote.
I saw. I didn't get it at the time. I was.
He wrote acid reflux instead of reflux. So of course, anytime
Oh, he did?
Christian makes a mistake, I'm there to fucking torment him and make fun of him about
It's
it.
like my kids being with me constantly. God forbid you mispronounce a word. Just a little off.
Hey, football season's coming back tonight. That means the Hyper Bowl's coming soon.
Alex, it's your choice. Do you want him on or off tonight? I don't mean whatever.
I think we'll round out the show. We'll leave him on.
We brought
Four's a
nice
good
Alex
number.
on tonight. I thought you told me you were going to get like mean Alex on the show. I want
I
mean
think I
Alex.
retired him too.
He is retired. It's true. Me and Alex is retired.
He had to
Laid back
retire
Alex.
with the show.
Yeah, he's alive and well, laid back now. It's a whole different cat.
Yeah,
That's
we
what
got-
happens to you.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
laid back Dave tonight, Christian. Look at that. Usually we get angry Dave, at least for the very beginning.
Yeah.
We didn't even
Oh.
get angry. We didn't get angry Dave for a sec.
Well,
No,
we did
Alex-
when he was going to boycott Rocky IV, the director's cut.
Oh yeah, but
He was
it's
pretty
still
angry.
it wasn't as angry as normal. Normally he's like, "Fuck this! I'm never paying for a movie again."
I think it's because Alex is here. Alex is like that blanket of like comfort.
Yeah. There you go.
It's
It's
true.
like-
He is very comforting.
He's
soothing-
your
I'm
he's your
soothing.
binky. You're Dave's binky.
I'm like Linus's blanket.
I was just
Yeah.
going to say he's your Linus.
Well, it's been so
you know
long.
what I mean. It's been so long.
You know? Well, it's true. It's
I
been a
know.
long time since we've done a show. I mean,
Well, we
fuck,
made that one attempt to do that Halloween thing that we
I
were
wasn't
going
gonna bring it up. I didn't know
I don't
that yours. Although, like I said, this is a safe place. Only so many people are hearing the show. This isn't
Right.
like a regular horror film show that fucking tomorrow you say something and 50 people are gonna be talking. Oh, did you hear what Alex said? No one's gonna say dick. Everything's fucking real.
Oh, I'm not
You know what
going
I
to talk
mean?
shit anyway. I don't care.
No,
I-
not talk shit.
I
I
have
just didn't know
nothing.
if you wanted that information leaked that something was recorded.
Oh, no, that we were going to attempt to do things in October, and then, we're not going to. That's all.
Fair enough. Just like Banana Teaser.
I honestly thought you were going to bring up that fucking asshole that was complaining about how many fucking jack-o'-lanterns were out in the 2018 Halloween.
Oh, God.
What a fucking dick that guy is.
Fuck
Oh,
that
yeah, I
movie.
He's like, no way would anybody have that many jack-o'-lanterns.
Nobody
I was like,
would. Nobody
I was like,
would.
this guy does not want to like this movie, does he? And it's weird because I finally came around more to what Brandon was thinking. So now I feel bad that I brought that up. Like, but it's weird. That movie's still okay. It's just that it has like a lot of like weak areas, and the main one to me is like the small talk. Like with the kids in the hallway and the family in the kitchen, and like there's like and the kids at the party and stuff. Like there's like and walking down the sidewalk, and it just feels so crowbarred in. Like a lot of people thought that was the brother, but it really wasn't. They just made it up to feel better. Like what? That's your explanation for what we're doing here? To make them feel better? What are you talking about? Like it was just poorly written. All the small talk. And I think like that scene where Michael walks through the town and it's like amazing and all that.
Oh,
I think
love
that kind of but I think that sort of carried over too much into people's like overall thought of the movie, and it's not as good as that whole moment. but we kind of like think it is and stuff. And I don't know, just like, huh?
We wanted it to be. That's what it is.
Menberries?
Yeah, I felt
like
the same way. I wanted it to be great. And I'm not saying it's not. I just don't think it was as good as I first said it was. That's all. I think there's like weak things I didn't realize until I saw it like 3 to 4 times. You know?
And I would agree with that. I still really enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I could definitely agree with that. And you're right. There's crowbar things. Most recently, someone was posting about the kid that the girl's babysitting, and the comic.
And I
relief from
agree with that. I agree with that. That is a problem with modern day filmmaking, though. Something like that would have never happened in Halloween '78. Never. Dialogue like that from a kid and that much forced comedy. It's a product of fucking 2018 in these times. It's sad that horror, ever since fucking Thanks Freddy, ever since Freddy came into the fucking picture and made it MTV big,
Here you go, Brandon.
comedy, well, it's true. Comedy has to be fucking thrown in to anything that's made for fucking mainstream horror fans that plays.
I hope Freddy gets
it's
you
forced
tonight.
in now. I'm sorry. I love Freddy. I love part 1, part 2.
You're so mean
part
to
3.
Freddy. Every show.
Thanks,
not-
Freddy. Fuck.
But it
Freddy.
changed. Well, I'm sorry, but it changed the landscape of horror, and we're still dealing with the fucking aftermath of that. It's like that never would have happened before. And all of a
we're
sudden,
still in the nuclear fallout phase.
when a mainstream movie plays, especially a fucking franchise film, if they make a Halloween or if God forbid a Friday the 13th comes out next, look at that Friday the 13th 2009 movie, how much comedy they threw in there. That never would have fucking happened before. I'm sorry, there was comedy, there was humor.
Jason Lives.
Okay.
Well, he
You're
doesn't
right.
like Jason Lives, though.
I know.
So you kind of help his point. Yeah, no,
I'm not trying to fight his argument.
Yeah, I think the humor, like dead fuck and all that stuff, I think it's all there. But I think modern, trying to relate to today's teens and stuff is what maybe we don't like because we're not on that wavelength. We still want like that other type of comedy, and now they're giving this new age or whatever you want to call it, comedy that is kind of like an eye roller, like a kid like him saying, "I'm just cutting my nasty ass toenail," like, you know, it just doesn't play as charming as, you know, Tommy Doyle thinking he's funny by like scaring Lindsay by the window or something, you know, or I don't know, or even Bud talking about "come sit on my face" and all this stuff. "I need your pie." Like for some reason that's different. And it's because it's, I don't know, it's more in our tune. It's tuned into what we're into more. And we grew up with all this. So to see the new stuff infiltrate it, I think it doesn't sit well, you know, and it feels forced. And
yeah,
I don't know if people back then thought Bud was forced when he was saying all that stuff. But
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
interesting. Maybe it's true because maybe I didn't, but you're right. Maybe some audience members did at the time, thinking, "Well, look, this is a pale imitation of part 1." They got this Bud guy time, "Amazing Grace, come sit on my face." What the fuck? You never know.
Yeah.
This is a direct result of them 1955. If that giant spider wasn't so funny, we wouldn't have this here in 1974. Sorry, Dave.
giant spider. Look
Who's
at
this? Who's this
Bailey
guy?
making
Lucky,
Bailey
what the hell
making a
happened?
rare appearance. No, it's Bailey. It's
We've
Okay,
never
babe.
seen Bailey
What are you
before.
doing?
5 years
I
we've
know.
never seen Bailey.
I don't know why she comes down here now.
She gonna get a cut of the Patreon money?
No.
It's another novelty. I'm gonna be doing a show with Bailey next. All right.
Dog's asshole.
Yeah, just show us your asshole, Bailey. Put it right up there. Patreon perk. Bailey's asshole. Watch it open and
Can't be helped.
close for an
Can't
hour.
be helped.
It's gonna pucker up for you.
That's the problem with dogs. You always see their asshole. That's the problem with dogs.
It's true.
I never-
He's right about that, though.
I
feel
never
like
noticed
every
when I
time
I
had
need
we're
to
around
write a book with his quotes. That's the problem with dogs. You always see their assholes. I've
And
never
I'm
seen my
grateful with
cat's
it.
dick. Was another one from last year.
Yeah, that's right. So think about it. A cat's dick you can't see. A dog's asshole you always see. You know what I mean? It's unusual.
And the whitest dogs have the dirtiest assholes.
Huh.
I'm gonna write a book, The World According to Dave.
Do it up. Do it. When we
Fuck
retire.
Freddy. The World According to Dave.
Do it up. We can do it when we retire. That's it.
Did Bailey mess up your Punch and Judy stage there?
Punch and Judy. Oh, this.
It just looks looks like a puppet show like you're gonna put on in there.
Butch and Judy.
Oh, that's right. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna get into that. I gotta try to fix this mic one time, and now that I got this thing here, maybe I can do it like the rest of the big shots do. But so far I can't. But we'll see.
Well, yeah,
We'll see.
we jumped right in because we're excited, and most of the patrons probably know who Alex is, but maybe not everybody. Yeah, we sort of tickled the skeleton crew a little bit, like feather dusted the balls, but we didn't really get into it. Like, why don't you build this guy up a little bit more, man? Like you said, he was your podcasting hero, and it's true. Like the shows.
I've said it many times on this particular show. I always talk about the skeleton crew.
We're trying to
and
stop
everything
him, actually, Alex, when he tries to do it.
See, that's true.
But now you're here.
Alex, see? If there's no skeleton crew, there's no Dave Z doing podcasts. There's no banana laser. That means there's no exploding guys. There's none of that stuff. If I'm
not sure my mom and dad would have met without skeleton crew.
Yeah.
This is fucked up, Alex. I was thinking of this the other day. If you didn't start that podcast, when you started that podcast, I don't know what the fuck I'd be doing with myself right now. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Everything at that point, I just moved back home from Vegas to Buffalo. I had all this shit going on. Okay. No, this is true, though. When the podcast came around, I was talking about horror sometimes, on Clad and everything else. But I mean, and I was always buying the movies and watching it. But when I came home, I was working a lot. And then it's hard to say. Like, I don't talk. Like, I saw my friends last week for the football draft, okay? I went there. I didn't even play. I just draft for my friends just to go to the party because I only see these guys 2-3 times a year. And they've been my friends for fucking 35 years, okay?
You can't play for Francesca's sake.
You're 100% right. You're right. Now, the thing is, I don't have anything in common with these guys, and I've known them all my life. They're like blood brothers that I've known forever, right? But when I sit down with them, I mean, I can always shoot the shit with them and drink and party because we talk about old memories and everything. But what happens is this. Because of that show, because of you doing the skeleton crew and everything else, I fucking went into this whole lifestyle of fucking getting involved in podcasting and going really balls deep into the horror genre again. And that's all I was doing, listening to podcasts, watching movies, watching horror, and then starting my own. And then talking to you almost every fucking day and text and Facebook and joining all these Facebook groups. Everything I do on Facebook now and social media is all because of that happening. Of you starting a podcast and me getting involved in the horror movie podcast scene. Otherwise, I'm thinking, what the fuck would I be doing? Who would I be talking to all the time? Seriously, isn't it weird how fucking 8 years later I'm looking back on this and I'm like, what else would I have been doing? And who would I be talking to if not for this has become such a huge part of my life.
Masturbating,
which I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, you still squeeze that in.
Yeah.
That goes without saying. There's always time for that, but it really is trippy to fucking look back
It
at
is, yeah. It's
it's
like how something can change the course of our life, and then you wonder, like, when you say something like, what else would I be doing? Like, to me, it's almost like, well, nothing. Like, this is, I guess, what we were supposed to be doing. Because, like, the same thing with me, like, when I started that, I didn't think anything of it. It was just it was nothing. Like, we literally didn't even have a host. We just loaded our shows to YouTube. So, like, we didn't have anything. And we just started, and then it guess gained momentum. And then pretty early on, I started branching out. And I guess that's how I found Jason Lloyd. And then from there, a couple months went by, and then we got actually kind of instantly we became sort of like known there because right away we started getting these interviews with like Bill Moseley and all this other kind of stuff. And I forgot what the first few people were, but I know like Adam Green was in there and stuff. And then everybody's just started to take notice, like, how is this show like getting like real people on here? And we're just like talking about movies all the time. And that's weird. It's like a whole nother thing. And then they heard it, and then the production and stuff. So it was kind of all like just lightning in a bottle in a way. And I guess all through my life, I've always had a creative outlet. Like I always did something. And like the big thing before podcasting was music. So I had like a band, like, guitars, drums, the whole thing going. And then I moved on to rap, as you know, with the Friday song and stuff. So I did that for like 2 years, but it was always writing and always creating. So that was just my next like phase of what I was going to do, I guess. And yeah, it was really amazing. Like I always said, even at the end of it all, you could talk about, oh, ratings. You were the top 5 shows downloaded through the month and out of 30 shows at the time, whatever it was, and all that kind of stuff. You did it so many times and number one, blah, blah. But like in the end, all you really have is those times shared and the friendships made and the paths chosen in life because of what you're around and what you're associated with, and that's what the Skeleton Crew really was. It was a community that was built, and we all became good friends and all close, just like Clad. You remember that? Like we became really good friends with all those people somehow, and somehow I'm lucky in that way that as much of an asshole as I am, I guess, I still somehow attract really good people around me. So like even with Clad, we had like the best people of our community. I mean, it was really like a family.
Yeah, and nobody argued.
Right. Nobody argued. You could say
this
anything.
is a message board, by the way. This is the message board that Alex got. Yeah,
a message board. So, and then that was the other creative outlet, amongst the music. And then I moved on to podcasting. So then that's what it really is. So, yeah, that's the best part of this. And I hope everyone's better for it. I hope, like, they found a fun avenue in life to take instead of just, waking up and going to work and coming home and cooking dinner and showering and hassling with the kids or whatever, and then doing something in the garage for 5 minutes and then watching them something and going to bed. Like, hopefully, like, this gave you, it kind of extended your, it gave you, like, a new lease of, like, sort of being a kid again or something. Not a kid exactly, just something of youth, Like, it just, something fun instead of just, like, the mundane life that everybody seems to be caught up in, who are just don't have many interests and just listen to the radio and don't buy albums. They never even became passionate about music or anything. Like, there are people like that who just really aren't passionate about anything. And they go through their life that way and they don't know any better. And they just die that way. And at least this might have shown people you can have an outlet.
Don't turn the camera off, Brandon.
you can have an outlet of something other than just sports, which is what most guys do when they get older.
So what you're saying is you really regret starting all this.
Totally.
Should everybody have a podcast? Someone comes up to you and says, Alex, I love the Skeleton Crew. I want to start my own show.
Oh, they have.
Yeah. And, we know.
I'm one of them.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. But, yeah, Dave was one of the rare people that when he started Banana Laser with Matt, it was interesting because first he got stuck with this guy, something Dominguez, with this Dirty Bay of Horror or something. Him and Matt Frederick. And him and Matt were on there. And I remember the first thing I ever messaged him was, I was like, yeah, I heard your show. I was like, you and Matt should just do your own show. You should get off of that show. I don't know what that is, but you should just do your own thing. I know that would be I think that'd go better. And then within less than a month, Banana Laser was born. And that was one of those rare shows that, like, were spawned from a show that was, like, semi-successful or whatever you want to call a Skeleton Crew. And it actually worked and was just as good. And it was like, wow. This is amazing. Like, even I'll listen to this.
Yeah.
So
very appealing.
Yeah. Banana Laser has everything.
Shit. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
But most of the time, see, Alice can tell you. See, I know I sound like a smug asshole when I say that everybody wants to podcast, and sometimes it's too much. Where people that we're good buddies with, you know what I mean? I don't mean to come off that way, but we've seen it happen so many times, right? And it's just most of the time. It's a failure. Occasionally but it's diamonds in the rough,
Oh yeah, it's happening right now. We know a guy who's gonna do a show this Saturday, and it's terrible, And it's like, I'm not gonna say the name.
There you go.
I'm not doing another solo cast. Not on Saturday anyway.
Right, and they don't seem to get it. That's the funny thing. Me and Dave used to say to each other, "Do these guys listen to their show back and think it's the same thing?" Like, it's fascinating as some people don't. And listen, if I was really horrible at this, I would definitely know that. And I would say, okay, well, maybe I should go back to music or something, because I can't do this. You know, some people don't. They have this state of denial where they just don't know they're not good. And some people just keep coming on and keep recording, and I don't know why. And I know that sounds smug like Dave's saying, but it's true. I mean, some people just aren't cut out for this, and they just keep going.
But do you think that's a talent issue or more of a commitment issue? Because it is a big commitment to really prep properly, come on here and really do a good job. Some people are just, oh, let's watch a movie, let's get on, let's bullshit for an hour and a half and release it. You know, no editing, no whatever. So
yeah, I mean, gift of gab, I guess, is important. I don't think I really have that. Like, I don't really have the gift of gab. I know people who do. But I think once I zone into whatever I'm doing, I'm passable that way. But like I think if you can at least be passable. But I think what makes me better than I should be or probably naturally am is note taking. Like that's the most important thing. Like I am so better because of the notes I took. Like that has made me whatever everybody thinks I am. It's just good preparation. And I think that, you know, some people could wing it, I guess. Some people could just watch the movie and then just come on, I guess, and sort of recall it all and remember the funny things about it. I can't. And I know Dave can't. Me and him are in the same boat. We have to have our notes.
Yeah.
It depends on the movie. If it's a first-time watch, for sure. If it's the Friday the 13th series, absolutely don't.
Oh, God, here we go.
We got 2 reviews to do.
Okay, we'll get to it. Jesus.
Bailey, show us your asshole quick before Christian starts talking about Friday 13th. Turn around and show us your asshole.
We know it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that. Those were our first Skeleton Crew shows. The 12 shows were Friday the 13th. We did 1 per show, and none of us watched the movies for those. So, and it's funny because that's some of Dave's favorite stuff. He says that there was a magic to that. That isn't always there. And I think I was better beyond that, obviously, because I took the notes. But I think the innocence of those first podcasts is what appealed to Dave.
It was Friday the 13th talk. It was the type of conversations I'd never heard in my life. When do you sit around and talk about Friday? At that point in my life, I never sat around and discussed a Friday the 13th movie with somebody right in front of me speaking for fucking half an hour. The only time I talked about it was on Clad on a message board. But to hear a discussion and to hear people's passion and, you know, people with the same observations I had while watching them and making jokes and this and that and their love for the fucking franchise, it was the first time I heard it. So it's always going to be. It might just be half nostalgia, but I don't know. For me, it's just always going to be my favorite thing to listen to, though. I'll always go back once a year to those fucking Skeleton Crew Friday the 13th shows. There's just something about it. It's always going to be the greatest to me.
And just one last question, because I know we do have the 2 reviews. If like someone was like known to be like the caller in, like they call in, left some messages on the show, do you think they should be like a full-time podcaster?
I never asked Dave to reach out to me. And if I had known you were the other one he reached out to, I definitely would have turned him.
Well, Matt was the call-in guy for Skeleton Crew, and so was I. Not calling in. That's what I figured. That's what they do. I'm no dummy. Matt was what Matt was, and he was great. And Brandon was kind of like another Matt, but just couldn't produce. You know what I mean? But
much shorter.
Yeah, everyone's shorter than Matt.
Can you say Exploding Heads is filmed in front of a live studio audience, Brandon, please? Exploding Heads is filmed in front of a live studio audience. I love that.
Yeah, say it.
He won't even do it. He's no Matt.
No, he won't even say that. You know, like the 70s show. No, here's what pisses me off. Sometimes the most passionate fans you have, they are fans. There's a difference. There's listeners and there's fans. These people are fucking fans. They're on your page every day. They're this, they're that. They're constantly talking about it. They're making posts, this and that, calling in, emails, everything you can fucking think of. They're doing. They love the show. Then all of a sudden, what do? They turn around and they say, I'm going to start doing a podcast. And as soon as they start doing the podcast, your show didn't even fucking matter anymore. They go off. They start their own little fucking thing, and then all of a sudden they drop you like a fucking hot potato.
I like it. Let's talk Night of the Demons. That rage is just brewing now.
The rage! Yeah, okay.
He's like that old guy with the apples and the razors at the end of the movie. He's angry.
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't need your help, you damn little whore.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got something funny to play. Okay, let's get to the review. Go ahead, B.
All right. Night of the Demons from 1988, directed by Kevin Tenney. 10 teenagers party at an abandoned funeral parlor on Halloween night. When an evil force awakens, demonic spirits keep them from leaving and turn their gathering into a living hell.
Indeed. What a fucking movie. Let me tell you this. I loved this movie when I was young. And then for a while, I loved it until the third act, and I kind of fell out of it. And the last 2 times I watched it once earlier this past year, maybe last year, whatever it was. And then again yesterday, I fucking, whatever it is, it all came back to me, and I'm back to loving it again. But let me play you this. This is the noise that the old man makes when the girl scares him in the fucking. Listen to this. I don't know if I never paid attention to it until yesterday, but listen. Hold on. Doesn't it sound like he's trying to scare somebody? Oh, listen.
You can't say that.
It's like stock sound effect footage or something.
Doesn't it? It probably is. Maybe that old man couldn't scream. I don't know.
I remember this coming to the theater, which is, it's not like crazy to state that, but this seems like one of those direct-to-video movies that you would have found. I know you said you saw Witchboard in the theater, Dave. I don't remember Witchboard coming. I'm a couple of years younger than you, but not much younger. But I remember this coming. I remember seeing the advertisement for it. It played at a theater in my hometown, and I was just too young to go see it. But
what are you talking about? You were like 32 when this came out.
Wow. Speaking of 32, this movie, Night of the Demons, came out 32 years ago today to the theater.
Holy shit. You know that?
Look at that.
What a full circle thing. You said you going to the theater, he said 32, and today happens to be the day. And I didn't know it until today. I happened to see someone made a post about it saying 32 years ago today, Night of the Demons came to the theaters. So, yeah.
And it was just weird because, again, it just seemed like the more traditional run-of-the-mill direct-to-video style.
Yeah.
But the movie itself, I've always loved as well.
It's no Pinocchio's Revenge, but it's good.
Yeah, of course you have to bring that one up. Even Kevin, which I'm on a first-name basis with, seems to hate that movie.
You call him Kevin, I call him KT.
This movie, it was scary. And that was something that was a kind of not, you want that in a horror film, but it didn't seem like most horror films had that. Wait to it. When the demon was kind of floating down the hallway, some of the jump scares, the makeup effects were great.
Very, very Evil Dead-esque with the demon, the POV demon.
Yeah.
Great opening title sequence, with the ghosts and goblins and the demons and the credits and yeah. Oh, that's awesome stuff. I would say this though, and maybe it's just this time. I really like this movie. I don't think I'm gonna be as high as you guys, but I found myself for the first half of this movie thinking like, man, it's a really slow first half. And then when first half, and then when it picks up in the second half is when I love it. Especially given the makeup effects of the demons. Even though it's a little inconsistent, I wish they had done more with some of the other makeup, like Jay's makeup and stuff, like Stooge. Obviously, Angela's makeup is fucking fantastic. Suzanne's makeup is fantastic.
But all the interactions with the people that you meet in the first half
I love
are
it.
fantastic.
There's some great comedy
love
there,
the dialogue.
especially in the beginning, especially with Sal and the brother, and I love all that.
Tatas.
But what? Yeah, bodacious boobies, sis. But once
he's pretty obsessed with his girl, his sister's tits, don't you think?
That's a very 80s thing, I think.
Yeah, but it's his sister. I don't know.
I never had a sister, so I don't know.
Oh, well, I bet if you did, you wouldn't talk about her tits twice in 5 minutes.
If they looked like Judy's, I would. They were gorgeous.
Okay, that's true. Alex, I'm really curious about this because I know your feelings because we've talked about it before. I know that you felt like I felt when the third act came, you fell out of it. Do you still feel that way?
I feel bad saying this because you guys seem really into this, and I don't want to open any avenues of you might notice something or whatever, but I don't know, I have a hard time getting engaged with this movie, and I don't know what it is. I think it's the way it's constructed, like the pacing or just like the whole scenario that continuously plays out, like where this demon comes up to you and you just basically have to run into another direction, and then he just like leaves you alone until you get to something else, and then like then you see him again and you just run the other way, and then you're good for a while. I guess you're stuck in the house, so they just leave you alone. And I don't know, like I don't know if it's the lighting or just the way the rooms look in the rest of the house or something, because like the party room I was in love with. I thought it looked really cool. I loved when the music was going and they were sort of having a good time, but not really, because like they never really partied. Like that's like the weird thing. Like I was always waiting for this cool 80s Halloween party vibe, and it never really happened. It's just like music's playing and somebody's walking near peanuts and putting a lighter down and picking it up and putting it down, picking it up, and I'm like, all right, well. And then the battery dies. Like, well, it wasn't so fun. Like, we didn't even get to any beer chugging or hooking up with chicks in any real way or anything. And I don't know. I remember the third act was like unwatchable. And even like this time, I noticed at the 45-minute mark, I hit the 1.5 thing on my PlayStation, so it plays faster, but I can still hear everything. And I don't know why. And like as I'm looking at it, you know, everything I see seems cool, but I don't know. It's just like disjointed in a weird way that I cannot get into this movie. And I swear I've tried 5 times. And I this is going to kill people, but I watched the remake once and I thought it was good. And I've watched this 5 times, and no matter how much I love 80s and horror and the look of all this, I can't.
That's
I can't get it.
I really enjoyed this film. My biggest like sort of negative on it is the amateurish acting throughout. It's kind of its charm as well, because it just seems so bad. Like Linnea Quigley in this is a horrible actress.
Oh my God!
Oh, stop it!
No, she's Dave. He's right. Like I couldn't believe it this time because I love her. She's a great person.
She's supposed to be though.
No, but
yeah, she's supposed to be over the top. That's what she does.
No, she was fine once she went over the top. When she's acting in the beginning, before she becomes possessed, she was awful.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. The normal acting was bad, and then once she was like, once she got into the possession, it fit her acting.
Yeah, once she's fixing her face, I'm okay with it.
Right.
You know,
because she's just humming for the rest of the fucking movie at that point.
When she puts the nipstick in herself.
Yeah.
Well, like even on Return of the Living Dead, she couldn't even do one line right. Like they were like, "Hey, let's go in that cemetery." She's like, "Oh, let's do that." And it's like, what? Can you read anything right? You know, like, oh God.
One of the things I can't believe I've never noticed this. So I've got the Scream Factory blue, and this is the first time I've ever noticed this.
What,
the
Roger's
little
black?
the patch that's protecting her when she's bent over. I never noticed that in the VHS.
Right.
What?
Unless I just thought it was her underwear. But it's so obvious on the Blu-ray that there's like a little protective patch there to kind of make it a little like, yeah. So I guess it hides a little bit more.
It does. That is what it. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about, but yeah, you're right. That is what's in there.
It's a merkin.
This joke again.
This joke.
But later on,
it wasn't merkin last time. It's not merkin this time.
Yeah.
She shows her bush later, though. We finally get the actual Linnea Bush that you never really see. You see tits all the time.
In that scene, it was a merkin.
I don't know what a merkin is. I don't think I remember the last time either. Is it an animal?
It's a wig.
A dick wig. For cancer patients, when they lose all their pubic hair, they could wear a merkin.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
You can put
No.
Okay. Whatever, I'm not.
I don't
I like
believe
that. He got so sad. He's like, no.
Well, why would you?
No.
So if I have
don't know why
cancer,
you
you're
would,
going to
but
tell me that I would want to have fake pubes? Is what you're telling me?
That
That's
is
what
really
I'm thinking
vain.
about if I have
I'm
cancer.
not disagreeing. I think it's very strange too. I just love the way you went, no. It was really funny. You got sad for a sec. I'm with Alex. I'm glad he said it because I kind of towed the line a little bit between, because I've rated this favorably in the past, but man, I disagree about the third act. To me, that's where at least there were some killings and effects being showcased, because the acting, even though there was some good comedy in that first half, the acting is so bad that you're just not into it. And I feel like, I hate to say this, I do agree with you that it would be cool. I never thought about it. It would be cool if there was more of a party scene to it.
Yeah, that'd be cooler.
But they introduced 10 characters, and it's too many characters because everyone's spread so thin that you don't really care about anyone.
Right. And
man, go ahead, Alex.
I wanted Sal to live. Sal was the only one I really cared about. Sal was like the only really stand-up guy. He's like,
only at the end.
He's like, you're all acting fucking weird, but he wasn't like a dick. Even when he came to the brother's house, he wasn't like, you could tell Jay was a scumbag. Sal was kind of like, just one of these guys. And
shit.
Here's a chunk of change, like loosen your lips.
Two things. I like them too. Well, two things I took away from this too was that one, you're right. I always did say that third act was the worst part, but this viewing, when I sped it up and everything, I actually stopped it and rewinded it to watch the kills, because the kills were good. You're right. Yeah. So I actually appreciated them more this time than ever, and I was into them. And what I really took away, though, was like how you pointed out that, there's 10 people here, and you didn't care about any of them. And what I took away the most was I could care less about the main girl, this movie, the final girl. I was like, well, who is she really?
Judy's so bland. She's gorgeous, but she's so bland.
Dave, I'm with you, man. I think this is fun. It's part of its charm. It's a low-budget film. It's a low-budget film. I can't disagree with the things you brought up. Both Alex and Brandon brought up some
I'm with you.
Good points. However, I find the movie fast-paced. I mean, it's gimmicky.
I do too, except for 10 minutes.
It's a haunted house movie. It's like it's literally like going to a haunted house on Clifton Hill in Niagara Falls, or like at a theme park or whatever like that. It's like the doors slamming, the booze, the quick gore fetches. It's that type of movie, and for me, it works. It doesn't always make sense, but I never looked for sense there. The whole lipstick scene is a special effects magic scene. There's no point to it.
It's fucking awesome.
It's an awesome sequence. Like, this is what made Steve Johnson. I didn't know Steve Johnson worked on Ghostbusters. I didn't even know he worked on with Rick Baker or on American Werewolf. I had no clue.
Don't you remember when Stay Puft puts a chocolate bar in his nipple?
But I remember he did this. And I also went to the Fangoria Weekend of Horrors, the only one that was ever done in Toronto. And, of course, Linnea Quigley was there. And, of course, there's some asshole in the audience. Did you ever find the lipstick? Because, she probably heard that every goddamn horror convention show she went to. I wish she just said, yeah, and I shit it out the next day. That would have been beautiful.
How about the Blu-ray? How it makes it so obvious that she has like a rubber body on, right? In that one scene, and they even put it on before anything really goes down, just to establish the look of it or whatever. And then it goes back and forth. But man, I wonder what that looked like on VHS or in the theater. I wonder if people really could tell. I don't think so, right? I think it's just a Blu-ray.
Not till now. It is just a Blu-ray thing. Things.
I watched
the bonuses and you see it there. No, I'm saying you see, because they focus on it. I even watched the commentary today, and they were talking about it, exactly what it was. And now I can't unsee it, but it doesn't take away from it, because for years I thought it was one of the coolest tricks that I've seen. This movie was all about the first half, with all the camaraderie of the kids and everything that comes out of their mouth, and the Halloween vibe and the party vibe and all that other good shit. To me, it's so much fun. The dialogue is great. That scene with the lipstick, and then Angela's dance scene, that has always been the highlights of this film for me. And then there's those 15 minutes towards the end where they get in and they're downstairs in the fucking boiler room, where it slows down just a little bit. But aside from that, I just have fun the whole time.
Yeah, so, I found a door and it turns out to be an oven. It's like, we know it's an oven. You're in a crematorium. We heard the whole story. The setup of the story is cool, about the whole house and all that, and Mr. Hull, and the joke about his wife, because he was banging the corpses, and he's like, I've seen his wife. I understand.
You like that
they
joke?
Make that.
And that falls so flat, because he's like, yeah, I've seen his wife. and it's just like kind of left there to die.
No, I thought that was. I like that.
Scene.
That's the saving part of the first half of the movie is the comedy in there. I didn't feel the camaraderie. I felt like it was like 3 separate groups of friends. It was the witches, Suzanne and Angela. It was the like stoner losers with Stooge, Roger, and Emily, and then it was the preppy with Judy, Max, Franny, and so it felt like 3 separate cliques coming together, and it felt like they had nothing in connection.
And Roger.
Typical.
Roger, the guy you never expected to survive, is the hero.
It should have been Sal. It should have been
Yeah.
Sal. It should have been Sal. It should have been Roger. Should have gone off the roof with
Roger and
with
Sal
Angela.
should have lived, and the girl should have died.
Yeah, I would have been happy with that too. And then they could have walked back to the house.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, your sister's dead.
Yeah.
Here's your mask. Here's your mask back.
One of the best jokes is when she said, "What's wrong? You don't like your blind date?" That was great.
That
So-
was good shit.
That's the problem, though. When I rented it way back when, it was the R-rated version, which cut out. It wasn't like totally goreless, but it cut out like the extra stuff that you would normally see, the extra couple of seconds that really sell the effects and whatnot. So when I bought it, it was always the uncut version. It was the uncut version, and that's where like when she sticks her hands into his eyes, I think it cuts away right away. But the version we see now, you see like the blood like sort of sputter out and
Really,
whatnot.
some great effects in that second
Yeah.
half. Even when you finally see, because I mean Emily's kill is off screen, you don't see her get killed, but when she comes back with her head all twisted and mangled,
So
I mean,
cool.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
You know, Max, obviously, you get the broken neck of Franny, and then Max's arm gets taken off. I like the goofiness of Max's arm coming back. Again, very Evil Dead-ish.
Yeah, like
It's just fine. Pay homage to great films like that, and that I enjoy stuff like that. But I can't agree. I do feel like, even though it is technically a short film, it's an hour and 30 minutes. I just felt like I was like,
Wow.
come on, like a little, at certain points.
This appeals to the 15-year-old to me at the time, 14, 15-year-old at the time, and right now. And that's exactly what this is. It's just that fun movie. I thought there was enough party stuff. I think you get the joke with Stooge. Stooge is kind of an asshole, but you kind of like him because he's an asshole. And then he's just like a dick. You're like, at least try to be nice if you're... And like, one of my favorite lines, are you fat and dumb? Are you fat and dumb?
Yeah.
When he was...
Yeah.
Roger, are you fat and dumb? Beautiful.
I like how he gets uglier when you take the pigtails off of him.
Yeah.
That's the fascinating part of it.
I love how I love how he thinks her being in the mood for pork is a compliment. What food?
Right?
Stew. He's a fat pig.
right. I'm in the mood for pork. Yeah, and I love how the one guy, he thinks the way to convince a girl to have sex with him is to tell her that everyone knows her reputation. Like, oh, I didn't realize. Okay, hold on. Let me get this shirt off and my panties down. I'm sorry. Like, wow, are you naive?
Yeah.
It's
He was just a loser. He is creepy right from the beginning. He's not a good character. You know it right off the bat. But no, it's fun. I love the setting. I love the gore. I like the music, and the soundtrack is kind of fun as well. So I don't know. There's a lot of hits. It's not a perfect film by any means, but
No.
it's a lot of fun. It's exactly
Did you guys
what you
notice?
want.
It is
Yeah.
fun.
Did you guys notice that the Chinese chick is the one from Sleepaway Camp 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know her tits were that big.
She's beautiful in this
She's
movie too.
great. I
They
love
all
her.
are. But when
Yeah.
you see her in that one scene in the coffin and she comes up, she fucking almost rivals fucking Linnea with the body.
Oh
I was
my
like, actually,
God.
they all have great bodies, honestly. All the women are very pretty. They're fucking, all the guys are assholes, basically, in one form. The only guy that really isn't an asshole is fucking the kid that's with her in the coffin. Everybody else is an asshole. Sale is fucking an asshole. He redeems himself at the end and becomes the hero. The other guy's an obvious shitbag that's trying to bang her. The other guy's a chicken shit. The whole fucking movie. He lives because of it, but he's just a chicken shit.
See, I think you're getting the wrong impression about Sal. I don't think he's such a bad guy. I actually think Judy's kind of a bitch. I think the reason she only ran out with him once is because he's kind of beneath her, in the sense that she's like this entitled white privileged girl, and he's sort of like this, thuggish Latino guy. But he's not really a bad guy. He doesn't really say tons of inappropriate stuff. Not like Jay turns out to be like a Duke lacrosse player, like so pervy and
You thought he was Latino?
whatever he is.
What's the matter with you?
Italian,
Look, I have a
Latino,
nice tan.
all the same.
Sal Romero. I'll even give you that. You know, he's a
Sal
Romero.
Romero, the Latino.
What do you guys think about they did the Halloween 2 deal with the lighter with this movie? How weird is that? Like,
Yeah, I noticed that the lighter came back into play just like Halloween 2.
right? How weird is that?
Now,
I
tell
never
me.
noticed it until the commentary.
Oh, they said in the commentary.
He said, he goes, she had the lighter because ordinarily she's not the type of person that'd be smoking, so that's why we had a lighter scene earlier. So,
Right.
so she had a reason to do the fire at the end. You know,
They
he
mentioned
didn't say.
Halloween 2.
No, we didn't do that.
Oh, okay, good.
I wish you would have. You know, that would have been
That
cool.
that scene is the most ridiculous scene in the movie. Where the fuck does this extra pipe come from? This is the problem I have with the movie. Is she pulls pipe out of the goddamn thing? She's like working with pipe. It's pipe. It's fucking hardwired. Like it's all attached. You can't just suddenly loosen it up and drag it 5 feet out.
Have you worked at a crematorium before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know about the piping in the ovens at the crematorium?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying.
I guess
'cause,
can't
like,
argue.
if that's, I can't argue with you then.
If he knows, he knows. What can we do? We can't dispute it.
I didn't realize it was Extend-A-Pipe. I sorry.
So you guys don't think that the main final girl, you don't agree that she has zero depth and charisma? Do you
Here's
really
the deal.
think she has those things?
No. Here's what I'm telling you, that it doesn't matter to me because I'm more into the fucking heels. I'm so into fucking Angela, and I'm seriously, I'm into the two girls more than anything. That's what I'm there for, and I'm there for the kills, and the other characters are interesting enough. But if it was a regular slasher movie and it was just one person chasing them, I 100% see what you say. But I do kind of dig the whole Alice in Wonderland vibe because that's what's going on here. That's why things are happening weird. That's why there's a couple times when the demon gets to the door. And it's almost comical when you see fucking Stu's chase her when they're outside and he goes to the door. All they do is close the door. Just close it. No lock it. And he fucking pulls on it and kicks it a couple times as if he can't get in. But if you take the Alice in Wonderland fucking gimmick and say that this thing is operating as an Alice in Wonderland type fucking shit that's going on here, it kind of makes sense. So I guess I'm into the...
I mean, I get it. She's dressed like Alice, and that's what they're playing off of, but it's very, very thin connection.
Well, Kevin Tenney himself said the same thing, that they were going for, that's why this happened, because that happened in the Alice in Wonderland. And I thought it, because I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. So there was this part when you're watching the movie, and those things come out of the bolts come out of the door, and some other things happen. And that's stuff that literally happens in Alice in Wonderland. And going into certain rooms, but then you're really in this other room. And they were doing things like that intentionally to fucking say, well, if we can have demons out, let's have some real fun with this and fucking go with the whole fucking... They're in one.
I didn't get a sense that the rooms were changing or that the house was shifting in any way like that.
I'm not saying the house was shifting or the rooms were changing, but there were instances where they were running around and fucking, if you dared to fucking try to figure it out, like what's that movie when if you think about the layout of the film, it wouldn't work that way. I think The Shining people have said that about and things like that. If you look at earlier scenes in the movie and then you see where the characters go and the turns they take, there's not supposed to be a room there type thing. And again, maybe it doesn't matter. But when he did it, he said if somebody questions this, I'm just going with the whole Alice in Wonderland thing. It was just something that Tenney said, and you know, I dig it. I'm cool with that whole.
I'm Mr. Agreeing with two people. I'll agree with what Alex said. There's no personality there, but these are caricatures. Yet I'm with you, Dave. I don't care because it's like they're just put in there to give us an entertaining romp, and it's funny. The things I find funny is like where she's on the roof, she comes out the windows, and she's gonna fight, and Sal is like scaling the roof. Like he just shows up. He's like coming down the roof. Where the hell was he?
He was looking for a way out. He was looking for a way out when he got thrown through the through the window, not through the window, through the window, and he wound up at somewhere.
The looking glass.
Could be.
See, it all figures in.
No, it could be.
Here's my question. Would you do a Sal or would you do what's the other asshole's name? Jay. Would you do
Sal
a Sal?
is not an asshole.
Okay. Would you do a Sal? I know I was calling Jay the shithead. Either way. Sal and Jay, they had two different approaches when they saw fucking Linnea doing that stuff with her makeup and wanting to fuck. Would you do a Sal and be bugged out and leave, or would you do a Jay and say, I'm going to fuck you anyway? I don't care about your personality and what you do. lipstick right now.
That's why Sal
And
was the
you
best
say
character,
so.
because his reaction to Linnea was awesome, and his reaction to Angela when she started dancing was like, what the fuck are these bitches doing? I gotta get the hell out of here. Like, that's
fair.
how a normal person would be.
Well, I guess I'm not normal because I would stay because I want to fuck the both of them, or one, especially
Dave would
Linnea.
have
when
had his eyes poked out before the party started.
Dave would have poked his own eyes out. You can come in, just poke your own fucking eyeballs out right now.
Yeah. While he's looking up her dress while she's by the fireplace.
Well, come on.
Like that
They're all
guy
dudes.
doing that right in front of his girlfriend is hilarious.
Oh, that's right. That's
And she doesn't
teenage
even care. That girlfriend doesn't really care. She's super cool. But she doesn't
knows.
bend that way. That turned me off. If I'm with you, you
Right?
bend whatever way we need to go.
Later on, she bends that way. She fucking gets her head twisted. Zoop. She's fucking bending all over the place. They might have done that on purpose as a gag, you know?
She can't deliver a line either. That's what's great about this. Everybody looks like they're reading off of prompt cue cards, like right off camera.
How about that
I
one
don't
shot?
bend that way. Sorry.
Yeah. No one says what's my motivation. Nobody.
What about that shot with the mirror and all their fucking faces come up in the different parts of the mirror? That's fucking brilliant, man. A clever
Oh
little...
yeah, they were all there except for like the black guy was like in between two pieces where he kept sort of bouncing and never perfect, but everybody else was perfect, man. That was so good.
It is good. There's a lot of good shots in this movie that get overlooked. There are decisions made that you don't typically see, and you could see a low budget movie like this made nowadays, and it would be fucking atrocious. It would be so bad. Kenny took time. I don't know. It's a campy movie, but it still is creepy and
Kenny
scary.
took
Like
time.
that one.
Just don't give it a 10 out of 10.
I won't do that. But there's just like little things, like that one scene when she goes, "Run, Judy, run! See Judy, run!" And then you see her run
She's
down
good
the hallway.
there. Because
Oh, she's great. And then you just
like
see
a
her
campy
shadow.
line. Yeah.
And that's more that's very
It's-
Wonderlandish, that delivery there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very dreamlike and surreal the way she was. But I still prefer Angela full demon mode. With that voice.
Alex brought up a good point earlier where like you could just sort of outrun these demons, go down one hallway and then like you'll see it scoot by and you think it looks like the demon's looking, they're down there. And so you think you're gonna have that big scare. Nope.
And it never happened.
They outsmart the demon.
Every time. And I'm like, wow, this is not so bad, I guess.
Yeah. Now if I could just find a door that gets me the fuck out of here, or a gate through that brick wall, we'd be fine.
Right.
Where was that barbed wire the first time he was going around the place?
And how did he get back up the wall again from that other side? Was there barbed wire to climb on there?
Yeah. That was just like they needed an ending, and so they just brought that was definitely drawn out. One of my other quibbles where they're all like trying to grab at Judy, and they're like,
Right.
like it's just like showcasing the gore effects, and it's just like,
And then it all falls apart anyway because as soon as he pulls her over, it turns
Halloween's
to
over.
sunlight.
Yeah.
They would have died, and they never really would have done anything yet. They would have died already. So
All they
he
both
didn't
had to
even
do
have
was run to the right 15 feet and wait an extra 10 seconds, and Halloween would have ended, and the day would have
Fine.
disappeared. The gate would have reappeared. That would have been funny if they were laying on the other side and the gate reappeared as the demons were,
yeah.
vaporizing.
They should have put that as a
They should
visual
have had
joke.
the gate reappearing.
That
Yeah.
would have been hilarious. And I don't care. It makes no sense. But that capper of an ending, for no reason whatsoever.
Love
like,
it.
oh, you used to love
Love
my
it.
homemade apple pies. Homemade.
Yeah.
The guy has a whole conversation with her before the razor blades do their work.
Yeah. And then the veins
Cool.
go up.
That's a
turn
cool
blue.
effect, though. That's
It
a
is. It's
cool
all
effect.
cool.
I
I
do
agree.
love that. Rotten pig trash out all night.
He's so miserable.
He's so miserable. You could tell these two have just been through fucking hell. Fucking Roger and Judy walking. They're like
Yeah.
catatonic walking down the street. It's like rotten pig trash. It
That's
is
good shit.
fun. It is.
It's fun.
It's a staple of Halloween of that time, of this time frame. Of this time period. So I understand why the love is there. I can't rate it higher than where I'm gonna come in. But I understand why people love it, and I think anytime you set a film around a holiday like Halloween, Christmas and it does things well, it automatically becomes sort of like a cult staple of that time frame. I mean, look how quickly like Krampus or Trick or Treat just
They
I mean,
deserve it though.
they
Sure.
do. They're much better films, but I mean, just look how quickly. I mean, look, one viewing and everyone was like, "This is fantastic. This is going into the rotation right away." And you're right, they are great films, but I could see why people do it with a film like this because it's still better than a lot of trash that takes place on Halloween.
Indeed.
Hellgate.
Lots of shit. Better than Satan's Little Helper.
Hellgate. Is that the one where they're laughing all the time? They're laughing throughout like the whole movie.
I don't even. It was one. I just remember being in an old house and it was just poorly made. I think it was 1988. Hellgate.
I think that's the one where they're at like an amusement park, like an old west amusement park, right?
Maybe you're right.
I think so.
think,
I'm telling you, they're laughing as they're delivering lines in that movie. It's so bad.
Dave, what about Trick or Treats? With the kids pranks in the house?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's an old Banana Laser review we did. Oh my
I
God.
love that kid. I love that kid in that movie.
You know who he is? He's Shelley.
Oh, is that Shelley?
He's young. No, his character is young Shelley. He goes up to right.
I thought
Literally.
it was Shelley, and I'm saying to myself, how could that be? The
Yeah,
kid's
it's
younger.
Larry Zerner, same actor.
I used to love the video box for that though. It always made me want to watch the movie. I wish the movie
didn't know
was
what
as
it
good.
was. It's a head with an ear, but I always thought it was a fucking cat in a box. In that box, me and my friends all did.
Yeah.
He's
If
like,
you
I'm
got
gonna rent
cats-
Schrodinger's cat tonight.
You
I'm
would let the
telling you,
cat out of the box.
I thought it was
Schrodinger's
a
cat
cat.
here. Yeah, you put a cat in a box. Is it alive or dead? It's both. Yeah, we get it.
I don't know. It just,
So, what did you
She
come
wrapped
in?
up her damn cat.
right.
You said I can't rate it too high, but what did you end up coming in?
What's your rate? Yeah, we got
7.5 out of 10.
Oh,
Oh, this
he liked
motherfucker.
it. The guy likes
What?
Jason Smith did just now. Jason, you're right. This motherfucker. The way he's talking, I think he's coming in at a 6, 6.5.
No, 7.5.
Okay.
Latino Sal's out of 10. Yeah, fucking prick.
Shit. All that fucking shit. It's an 8 out of 10 for me. That's as high as I can.
8 out of 10. I thought
Oh, wow.
you sounded like a 9.5 out of 10.
No. It's a
Oh.
fun movie. It's fucking got its. I enjoy the fuck out of it, but I can only go 8 out of 10.
My
I
old
could go
rating-
higher. 8.5 out of 10, but that's it. I'm not higher than that, but this is a staple. I watch this every year. I love it.
That's crazy. That's crazy. My
It's not crazy.
letterbox rating was 8 out of 10, and I lowered it to 7.5 because I didn't like it as much.
It's crazy.
Alex,
I'll do 5.5 out of 10.
Kick him off the show.
Holy
He's off the
fuck.
show. Get up. Cut the mic.
Are you serious? You really that low?
I was going to give it a 6 because I like it. You know, I'm doing the old Netflix ratings. 3 out of
Yeah.
5 means you like it.
Yeah.
I
Double
guess it's weird. I guess I do. I like the good parts, and I don't know. It still feels so disjointed. I can't take it as a whole movie yet. Like, it's still not doing it. And listen, I'm the guy who didn't like Caddyshack for the first 3 times I saw it. And then one day, I was like, okay, it is really good. And now I'm back to forwarding the gopher scenes. So, like, I don't know. Like, I'm seesawing on at this point. But this one, I keep trying, and I thought this would be the viewing where it really clicks. And then I'm pressing 1.5 at 45 minutes. So, I can't say I like it, you know, but I don't dislike it or anything. It's just a movie that, you know, it's whatever. So
5.5 sounds right then.
Yeah, I guess.
It's by your description of your feelings, that sounds right on the money. You know. All right,
So,
that's
yeah.
okay. Well,
There it
hopefully,
is. Wow.
you like the next one.
What a
I know it's a
range.
first for you. I know from 8.5 to 5.5. It's fucking. You're right. 5.5, 7.5, 8, and 8.5. Pretty fucking wild. Wow. So anyway, I forgot to say at the beginning of the show that we're doing 4 movies. These were picked by Kevin. Okay.
Kevin
Night of
Tenney?
the Demons. Kevin Tenney. Too. Yes. Yeah. he picked them. He wants to hear the movie talked about. Yeah. Night of the Demons, obviously, we just did. And then we're going in order of release. Would You Rather, What We Do in the Shadows, and I Trapped the Devil. So that's what we're doing. Alex only for the 2. So anyway, thank you, Kevin. And
Fuck you, Christian. I just want to put your head right here. I don't even have any shells. I just want it hovering right here like a Night of the Demons.
I'd love to haunt you with my severed head.
Put a Sal Latino head right next to his.
Nice. There you go, motherfucker.
Are you ready?
He looked like. Oh, we're moving on. I'm just gonna say he
We
looked
gotta move
Latino.
on.
He had a very dark tan. He didn't look.
He talked
I guess,
fucking Italian. He looked Italian.
His name is
Sal.
Sal.
His name is Sal. Sal
Like
was
for
a fucking.
Sal Salvatore. Like, what the
Not like
fuck?
Saul. You know.
It could be Saul.
Fucking better call Sal.
Saul Rosenberg. Go ahead, Dave.
Right. Saul Rosenberg. Yes, absolutely. Fuck. Come on, we got to do this.
Are you
review.
two done?
We're short on time. He's got a hot date tonight over here, you know?
Would You Rather, 2012, directed by David Guy Levy. Desperate to help her ailing brother, a young woman unknowingly agrees to compete in a deadly game of Would You Rather, hosted by a sadistic aristocrat. Sorry.
Mr. Cat. It's a fist of funks. Yeah, dude, I'll tell you this. I've seen this movie 4 times, and when I go to watch it the other day, I'm excited to see it. I really fucking love this movie. And I realized it last time that I go, like, every time I watch this movie, I'm excited to watch it. So I don't get tired of it. I know what's going to happen, and I don't care. I just enjoy the fucking whole gimmick. And Jeffrey Combs, as always, knocks it out of the fucking park. But I don't know. Who's seen this before besides me? Have we all seen this? I know Alex has not. Okay,
I have, yeah.
I thought I hadn't. So it was the first time watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I didn't see it either.
All right. So, what do you guys think?
I was angry. I get angry. These movies make me angry.
Oh.
Yeah, because I put myself in the position of the people, not in a bad way. Not in a I hate the movie.
Oh, okay.
I was angry because I just wish. Like, do you think they would have let them go? Do you think when he gave him that chance? Do you think he was a man of his word? And he says, if you walk out right now,
Yes, absolutely.
You're
You
gone.
walk out, but you get no money. Yes.
It seems like he's all business about that type of shit. Yeah.
oh, you weren't even allowed to take the money if you were one of the lucky ones
No,
that got the
she-
10,000 or 50 for the guy that drank the booze.
The only.
He wouldn't have been able to take his money and leave.
Oh, you're talking about that scene. Okay, I thought you were talking about the end.
No,
He's-
I'm
by that
talking
time
about. No, he
At the very
made her
beginning,
eat
yes.
meat. He
Yeah.
made him drink the whiskey.
Yeah, Kevin McAllister's dad.
Yeah.
Yes. That is his dad. You're right.
John Hurd.
Wow.
John Hurd, good actor.
And
Not in this necessarily, but good
And then
actor.
he
Can't believe
says,
he's
yeah.
dead. That's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, R.I.P. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. But
Yeah.
he gives him an out.
2017.
Yeah, because the games hadn't begun. You didn't know how
Right.
sinister it was going to become. It was just, drink a bottle of scotch or eat steak. Yeah, it's not nice and it's mean-spirited, but
The
it was just an
mean-spiritedness tipped me off.
appetizer.
I'd be out. I'd be out. I'm talking all over you. I'm
I'd be
sorry.
out, too.
But I would be like, as soon as this is fucked. I would have been like, he's making her eat meat. This guy, this is fucked. I don't like these mind games. I'm out. I would have been gone.
Yeah, but
So
the
I
whole
would've
point
lived.
is they chose people who are so desperately in need of money. That's the whole point. And then the whole point of the game is really to see, will these people's character change? And you see throughout that, with the exception of 2 people, maybe 3, everybody's character changes at one point. Only 2, possibly 3 people stay true to being good individuals.
Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, you're fucked. Like, you're kind of just, like, you're hoping for an escape, and they give you that scene, and it doesn't turn out good for anybody.
I love Jeffrey Combs eating the shells on the doctor's office at the beginning. And you
Yeah,
see the
yeah.
pile of shells on the couch.
Who's going to eat shells off?
That's the one thing.
No, eating the nuts, and he's got
Yeah.
a pile of shells on the couch.
He can do it because of who he is. But honestly, that's the one part they could have left out of this movie is that guy trying to
Dr.
fucking
Barton. Yeah,
cancel.
it-
Yeah,
that
that was.
That was a
He
tremendous
was
way.
he was a Rob Dyer.
He was a Rob Dyer. 100% he
Another
was.
one.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
as Bevan shot, he started screaming, "He's killing me! He's killing me!" Right before his brain flew out the
Skilling.
side of his head.
Listen, I'm gonna get you. Okay. Yeah. It was funny because like when he had this chick eating the meat for $10,000, like I'll be honest with you, I don't think I could eat a duck liver, and I'm not even a vegetarian. I don't think I would do it for $10,000.
I've had foie gras. It's actually quite delicious. I would have eaten that for free.
Wow.
Yeah, but
Damn.
you're not a
Duck liver.
vegetarian. She was like a...
Neither is
like
Alex.
Neither am I, but I don't think
Yeah.
I would eat liver. Dude, something about liver makes me like throw up in my mouth. I don't know
It's
what
kind
it
of a
is.
gross.
Chopped,
It's a
chopped
gross
liver.
word.
Chopped liver is one of my favorite foods.
What am I, chopped liver? There must be a reason people say that. It
fucking
must suck.
love Chop
If you are, then
face.
Brandon will treat you better. He loves chopped liver.
Fucking chop.
Yeah. What am I, chopped liver? It's a compliment to be.
It is.
It's a compliment to him.
You've
I'm gonna
never
call you
had.
chopped liver from now on. Okay.
He's saying nice things about you. He must be chopped liver.
Yeah. See? But here's the thing: that drink. If you drank that fucking whole thing, you'd be dead. That whiskey. See how much fucking whiskey that guy was?
Oh yeah, he'd be dead.
At least they made him a little sleepy for a bit. Like and then they have the dinner done. Like at least they didn't just make him all like spry for the whole movie.
And then he wakes up and he goes,
he would be dead.
Damn it!
It's gonna be Home Alone jokes all fucking show, isn't it? But
it was realistic to me.
When I'm sorry, I'm taking it back to the house.
No.
So before they go, the scenes with her and her brother, when they filmed it in the kitchen, I'm like, oh fuck, is it one of these movies? Because it wasn't framed really nicely. It looked flatly directed. I was like, is this one of these low budget pieces of shit that I'm not going to enjoy?
Sorry, Stanley. Sorry it didn't live up to your
Hey, Kubrick, thank you. I'll take it.
Kubrick.
The thing is, though, I think it was
that's the word.
Now, would you shut the fuck up for 1 second? Sorry, Brandon. But I think that was a stylistic choice because I think the fact that it was flatly directed and the way it looked was a direct contrast to the way the house looked. Because then everything else was really well done. The lighting in the house, the way the camera moved there, the actual framing, everything was great in the actual house. So it must have been, I can only chalk it up to being a stylistic choice, to being kind of just so, maybe to, again, reiterate the fact they've come from nothing, they have no money.
Maybe just edit out that part.
No, you kind of need it for the brother part because then the ending
No,
doesn't have the
I
same
mean
punch.
that whole speech you just gave about it.
Oh. I should have known. That was coming. I fucking hate this guy.
Oh, that was great.
I didn't notice.
You are chop liver.
No, that's why you're on the show, Chris, because you point out like the stylish things. Like I didn't notice that, the contrast of it. Like obviously they're not rich, they're poor, he's sick and all that. And I get it. That makes sense. That's cool. That would be, to me, a good choice to make, cinematography wise. The contrast that too. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But they're good people. How's that? The brother and sister, they're both good people. You
Are
respect
they though?
what they do. I think they are. And I like what he says in the beginning. It comes true. Ultimately, when you see the way everything ends, he says you can't always be the hero. Sometimes you just have to let go. That's what he says. Well, ultimately, that's what happens. Someone does ultimately let go, and for unselfish reasons, saying, you know what, I'm being a burden, this and that. She's trying to do what she's trying to do. He wants to do what he wants to do, and
well, they both just kind of let go. It's funny that they both have that moment. She does it for him.
Didn't he need a liver transplant? They should have just given him a duck liver.
Stick it in their pockets.
Yeah.
This is for later.
Rally, you're gonna be a duck. You're gonna be a
is that
duck.
what it's called? Farquaad?
Frogwa.
Oh, I thought it was that guy from Shrek.
Isn't like liver isn't that one of the worst ones to get? If your liver's gone, you're kind of fucked.
Bone marrow.
He needed bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bone marrow. That's bad too.
But if they gave him a duck liver, they would have had to pay. Jeffrey Combs said, "Put it on my bill."
Oh my god, you knew it was coming.
Put it on my. All right, let's talk about the movie for
The whole bill.
Yeah. Believable characters, every one of them, in my opinion. That's what I like about them. When I can watch a movie and say, I believe that people are really like this, and you see all these different type of people, to me, they were all believable. And that's what I like. And I love Jeffrey Combs. That's the strength of the movie. And, of course, the fun of the games, the fun of the choices and this and that. I'm very much into it. It's my type of movie. That's the best I could say. I just enjoy it. You guys don't like it?
I agree with you. I totally agree. And I thought Jeffrey Combs is comical. Obviously, participation is no longer voluntary. Like his lines, and even the old woman, June Squibb, who's a great actress. She's actually an Oscar-nominated actress. But when she gets electrocuted, she wakes up. She's like, "What was that?" Like I was like, "This is unintentionally funny in some points."
And then,
like when he's like, "What happened in the last hour to make you think you could leave here at this point?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now he's not as amazing in this movie as he is in Trancers 2. Everybody heard that? But
He's always great.
No one's willing to watch those movies yet. I've been pushing those movies for like 8 years, but everyone's like, "What? Yeah, good."
I'm a dull man person myself.
Oh, there you go. It's Tim Thomerson at least. There you go. Yeah, I gotta say, man, for a first watch, I really enjoyed this a lot more than I thought. I was fully engaged. It was a really good progression, like starting with shocking people, and then once it was a little well, I don't know, I wouldn't say misleading, I guess, but like when they kept passing with the shock thing to everybody, I was like, oh God, we have to sit through this like for everything they do. Like, oh, how's it gonna go for each person? But even then, it was still interesting to see the people who took the shock and the ones who passed it on, and then saying, just give me a minute, I'll do it again, just stall the guy, and all that kind of stuff. That was interesting because that it gave all the characters a lot of depth. And then once they progressed to things, it all worked out good. And then they progressed by having the dude argue with the son, who he kept calling everyone pigs, which was great. He goes, "Give me your name, pig!" That was just hilarious.
He was great. He was very believable.
I hated that character so much. You just wanted something bad to happen to him.
Yep.
Oh,
he was like a great heel.
Yeah.
He's like Johnny from fucking Karate Kid or something.
There's one scene. There's one scene if you have the subtitles on where he says something during the game, and you hear Jeffrey Combs whisper, "Keep your sarcastic comments to yourself."
Yeah, I heard
that.
I love that. Like,
I didn't need the subtitles on. I just actually heard the whisper.
Yeah, he said, "Oh,
I hate this guy. I really hate him.
So and so, the guy that gets whipped." What's his name?
Alex heard it. I heard it. You fucking had to have the subtitles on, you prick.
I don't hear very well. You should be sensitive to that. Don't you work for a hearing aid company?
I do.
Yeah, you should be sensitive to
Miracle
that.
Ear. Yes.
Miracle Ear.
But like when the way they progressed, it was really smart because instead of us having to, oh great, now we're gonna watch everybody pass the the thing and the cane and everything. No. Instead, you just keep hitting this one guy. What was his name? Travis?
Travis, poor
bastard. Travis, yeah. Oh my God. And then like the logic, they're like, well, I don't want to stab an artery, so I'm just gonna have to whack you a couple more times, dude. You all right with that? He's like, I guess wherever the fuck you went, just hit me. Like, it was just great, man. And like they kept coming up with the logic, and like the only reason the one broad couldn't hit him is because she can't walk. It's like,
right.
And Jeffrey Combs makes a joke about that too.
Right. He does, and he laughed about it. He goes, "Well,
yeah,
she would have been able to walk there anyway."
Right. She didn't really think it through. She just couldn't walk over there.
Oh, that's what it was. It wasn't when she got electrocuted. It's when she got stabbed. When she goes, "What happened?"
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Yeah,
that was comedy. She started bleeding out. What happened?
That's Dave Z. What happened?
Lover doesn't know how to tie it off. Below or above? Above.
I like that.
the
Though. I
weirdest
like
thing.
that. That's a funny little scene. That's something I could see somebody asking, not knowing.
Now listen. I really like this, but I have to be the jerk off and point this out. So, the main girl is one we're all hoping doesn't die and stuff, of course. So, this girl walks over to her and goes, "Can I stab her anywhere?" Because she wants to kill these people. So you would think you stab up in the throat and just fucking kill her right there, right? But no, but it's okay because she still stabs her like in the lungs, I thought, or something. So then, it seems like a big deal, and then I swear to God, it seems to have no lasting effect. Like it's almost like you could forget it happened.
Yeah, she should have been in more pain, but she gets stabbed in the ribs, and Lucas even says, "I think it missed a lung. Can you breathe? Are you okay?" He says, "I think it missed a lung." I don't know why.
Okay.
He does make that
subtitles
yeah.
on.
He did say that. I did. I'm like B. I always have subtitles on.
I need them all the time.
I'm addicted to them.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to subtitles.
It's true. I have to have. Even if I don't watch them.
What the fuck?
It ruined my life.
I can't help it.
I'm in subtitle rehab.
In 16 years. I'm gonna pay you $50,000 to watch a movie with
Here's my
subtitles
chip.
on.
What the fuck? I'm addicted to subtitles.
Dave, would you rather eat chopped liver or chug subtitles?
Well, it was the best word I could come up with. I'm addicted. In other words, I use them every time I watch a movie. What do you want me to say? It's like
and it's cool. It's cool. Like Jeffrey Combs' lines early on when they're eating the food. It's a lifetime of commitment wiped away by money, by 10 grand in the case of Irish. And then it becomes, you know, he's talking about applying rationale and ethics while under duress. And then you slowly see each character break. Like Cal, like I understand he's like, I'm not going to stab anyone. Travis is going to die anyway, so I'm just going to hit him. But that's a break from character. Even Peter, you know, stabbing Linda. It's like, was that the right move? Stabbing an old lady? The only ones who never really break are Travis and Lucas.
What about Sasha? She never breaks. She's the fucking badass the whole time.
Oh, Sasha's a fucking bitch from the start.
Yeah.
She'll
That's what I'm
shock
saying.
anyone.
She doesn't break. That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying break from being a ethical.
She's not a decent
rational
person.
human
Yeah.
I apologize. I
Yeah.
think you meant breaks like they fucking, you know.
No, break ethically.
completely break. Okay.
Travis and Lucas. And I guess you could say
Ethically, actually, she became a Latino greaser.
It's funny. I didn't even know that was. I didn't even recognize that was Sasha without a big black cock in her. Sorry, it was.
I like Sasha. I'll tell you that. That girl was a performer. She
I
wasn't
don't
just
know why they got mad that Bevins didn't give her a chance to catch her breath. She wasn't making it 4 minutes anyway.
No, that's ludicrous.
Maybe 4
4
minutes with a cock in her mouth, but not 4 minutes underwater.
Well, that was great though when you found out that she gave up the 2 minutes for 4, and you saw that the girl just barely survived the 2, and so you're just like, oh, that's fucking brutal. That's great. But
yeah, with a cock in her mouth, she could still breathe through her nostrils, but not with water over her face.
But what Jeffrey Combs said was true when he says it's not even close to the personal record, which is true because people can hold their breath underwater for like 20 minutes. But
20.
If you're fucking a magician or something.
No, legitimately, you have to
You gotta
train.
be trained for it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Some
but-
asshole at a dinner table, fucking dinner for
But he makes the comment that it's nowhere close to the record, and he's right. So that's
So,
I'm checking the record right now.
the
20
record for
fucking
jumping
minutes.
is fucking 20 feet or something. I'm lucky I'm gonna jump 12 on my best day.
doesn't
You know what
matter.
I mean?
It's still nowhere near close to the record, even though you can't do it. None of us could. Well, maybe Alex could. With that hand.
No.
22 minutes and 22 seconds. Holy shit, that is the record.
Yeah,
Really?
What? You didn't believe me? You fuck.
I know. I sure goddamn
I told
did.
you it was 20 minutes. I told you it was 20 minutes.
Wasn't it Houdini that went for it? at
It's
one
not
point?
a magician. It's a real thing. You train your lung capacity. I've seen
David Blaine.
athletes who
David
do
Blaine, I
that
think,
in their
did it.
training. Yeah,
I've
David
seen
Blaine.
magicians do it too, but it's legitimate. It's an illusionist that sometimes do it. They train for that shit. Chris Angel fucking did it. It wasn't a
Chris
trick.
Angel isn't even there. He's at home sitting in his living room while a hologram is underwater.
I don't know. All I know is that whatever. There was no way she was gonna do it for 4 minutes.
Oh, she didn't even
That's
get to
just
catch her breath too. That was an added little bonus, where she's like,
Well, that's
she just pops her
came
head
up.
right down. Boom, done.
the whole point I brought up. It's like even if she had caught her breath, she wasn't going to go 4 minutes.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I didn't have the subtitles on, so I didn't hear it.
Yeah, so you
hear
Latino
that part?
fuck. Fucking,
How about the Jason
okay.
Pierre Paul moment, man? That was great.
Oh yeah. The fingers.
He goes out loud, just let go of the firework, and it won't really do anything. He's like, yeah, no, he has to hold it, dude. So now that you said that, we're gonna tape it up to his hand. He's like, yeah, thanks, asshole.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey,
The problem is, why? I mean, am I naive? Why did he die?
Heart attack.
Heart
Yeah.
attack.
Oh, is that what they? I did, again,
that's
sub-
right.
Yeah.
It was a heart attack.
That was probably the most believable death to me in there. That was the most shocking to me because I'm like, maybe it'll be a dud, even though I've seen it before and I know it's not. But it's like the first time you see, like, maybe it'll be a dud, and then when his hand blows off, like, you would clearly go into shock and either just pass out or go into shock or have a heart attack like that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
seemed young to die of a heart attack, even with the shock setting in. You know,
I-
they can't
I-
be picky.
oh.
Wrap up the movie.
two things that I like. Do you think so? Like, did that guy die that got whipped? I know he was about to die. He's not doing
Well,
well.
they
We
said
keep being
he-
told
you
he's
don't
not
Said
know.
doing
he,
well.
he could live for hours or days, but they were not getting him to a doctor.
Right.
So he was going to die.
All right, so
eventually.
then there's that, and then the other thing would be: imagine you pulled that tooth extraction card and got that instead of Putting your two.
Wait, what?
2
You would
minutes
love
underwater?
that. You're already missing half of yours, you toothless fuck.
He'd be there for 3 minutes. Like, I'm
yeah,
done.
you're like, oh, I gotta pull out 2 more teeth. I can do that.
Oh, that eyeball thing bugged me the
Fuck
fuck
you,
out.
Sasha.
Though,
Like, thanks so much for the money. I'll tell my brother.
Yeah. I gotta
I think
give ya.
Sasha would have made it easier.
Yeah.
My
If she
brother's
was in the
gonna
room and
live.
it was her. That
Was she-
eyeball.
Was she the
eyeball
guest
thing.
star you
Oh my
wanted on?
God. Like, do you? I guess you got to try to cut the white part of the eye or something.
Oh, God, the thought of
Yeah,
it.
I know. I don't even like to think about it. It's.
I don't think I could do it. I probably would have been killed. I don't think I could physically have done it. Ooh.
You know what I would have done? I just would have poked it with the edge of the razor and go, "Well, look, it's open."
Yeah.
And then that's.
I
it.
would have just I would have faked it. I would have gone, ah!
I'm
And
like,
then-
cut me, Mick. Cut me.
There he is.
He
Rocky's
did
got
kind
to
of
come
look
up
like
again.
Rocky afterwards.
Yeah, he did
I
look
would've-
like Rocky.
I would have had the robot cut me with precision.
Happy birthday, Paulie.
Happy birthday, Molly. Don't bleed all over the carpet. Yeah, it's so great when they throw the drop cloth on the walls and the carpet goes, what's happening here? What are we doing next?
Yeah, you know nothing good is happening when they put up drop cloths.
Oh.
Clear drop cloths. It's great.
The escape attempt was cool.
Yes, and it got us out of the room for a few minutes.
Yeah, it got you out,
I thought it was
broke it up.
paced really well, and they broke
Yeah.
it up just at 10 minutes, and it
Yeah.
worked.
And
Yeah.
I love the way Cal's like walking towards Combs, towards Shep with that whip. And you could clearly see he's about to pull a gun out. And I'm like, stop walking towards him. Stop walking towards him. Boom, dead. Like, fuck.
Yep.
But Julian, coward, the son, hides under the table like a
course.
pussy.
Do you see how he went under the table? It was almost like he was crippled or something. I was like, can he not walk? Like, did you see how he slinked under the table? It was really like he couldn't walk. It's like the weirdest thing. I didn't know what I was watching for a
Like
second.
a human rat. That he was a good actor because I hated him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A
Oh.
great heel. Yeah.
No, he's
Definitely.
really like
I
that in
miss
real life.
Evans.
That wasn't acting.
Bevins I liked.
Evans,
I
MI5.
liked him. He was cool. He did his job. He wasn't a total asshole. He just was there for a job, and he
He's
was
a
polite when he had to. He was. I liked him. I
Sorry,
liked Bevins.
sorry, Bevins. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
For the tooth extraction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. I'd like to see a sequel because they could do this again.
Dude, you know what? This should have had a sequel. I totally agree with you.
100%. Why not? Why not? Same character, same fucking have him come back.
Fucking
his son.
Iris is alive now. She could be on the hunt for Lambrick and stuff, and they could set up a game and make it bigger
Rob,
stakes.
Rob Dyer in the next one.
No, expose the Lambrick Foundation. Get a little bit more in depth as to how it ended up like this.
She's got
So
money
how-
and she can't use it for anything else. She might as well
She can go back to school.
That was
Yeah,
that was nuts. That's like such a sucker punch ending.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
It's fitting though because ethically she became a scumbag in the end.
Right. And not to bring it to too
Right
much
now.
reality, but the fact is she couldn't really spend that money on anything. Because don't you think if she was going to buy cars and houses and get approved for all this stuff, like you just really can't buy everything in cash.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll
like
take this house. You accept cash.
right. You can't really do things like that. So the money is kind of all you could buy is like clothes and food and like a bunch of shit, TVs and couches and everything the rest of your life. But you can't really like it won't change your life. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but she would save
that's
her
why
brother.
they wash money. You know.
But
Huh?
she would save her brother. She would still save her brother, and that's what he says. You don't have to worry about waiting in
Right.
line for this. We have a donor at the top of the list. We can take care of you medically. You're going to get this, this, and this.
Yeah,
and that
that's
was
the
the only
main part.
reason.
That's
Yes.
that's the sole motivation. She would have done it even if it was just saving the brother and no money.
Right. And I heard that they're still waiting for the brother to show up to this very day. So, like, is he? You know, we got the guy. I mean, is he going to show up or what?
What the fuck? Yeah, right.
See, my sequel would just be a weekend of Bernie's that she tries to get him to the operation. And it's like a big like.
The only problem, and I hate to say a negative because I think I'm going to come in the highest, honestly, but the only negative is this. how do they explain? And again, it's just movie logic. But how are they going to explain to these other fucking 9 people whose lives are over what happened to them? How do they not get busted for doing this year after year? 6 people go to this house. You find out about, oh, my cousin's going to this thing. It's a game, and then just they never come back again.
When you have enough money, that's what money buys you.
That's it. That's the only thing I can accept. That's what I'm saying. It's movie logic in that.
It's the Lambrick Foundation. This isn't even his home. This is just the house they use for parties. Like, this guy's Jeffrey Epstein.
True. Okay.
The only thing I wish they had kind of explained a little bit of why each of them was there a little bit more. They started to get into it with Amy, with something with her husband killing her daughter and something like that. And then when Lucas is telling Iris at the end, like, it's kind of cool to he's kind of getting into why he's talking about how he has 3 sisters and he's about to relate to her, and then she shoots him.
Yeah, that was great though, man, because you didn't see it coming. You didn't see that coming. I didn't, and you don't see.
Oh no! The first time you didn't see it coming, you think they're walking out of here.
He was like, "Hey, I got 3 sisters of my own."
Yeah.
I don't know. I swear, all I could think of is Rocky when I saw the guy. I was like, "Oh my god!" Hey, listen, Apollo, I got 3 sisters too. After that fight with Club and Leg, things.
Apollo, if he had a gun, he would have shot him too. I always hated you, Rock.
Always hated you.
Anyway, yeah. This was a good first time watch. I'm glad I watched it. I will see it again. I was shocked this came out in 2012. I didn't think it was that long ago. It's been on Netflix.
8 years ago.
Well, I thank you, but it's been on Netflix pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah, long time.
You mean since 2012?
Yeah, in the beginning, 2012.
I'm not coming up tonight.
You ever see Ghost Dad, Alex?
Oh yeah, put the bitch on the phone.
Now, was that guy Italian or Latino? Actually, you know who that is? That's Dana Ashbrook from Twin Peaks. I think he's just a white guy.
There you go. I never saw him. I don't know. I haven't seen Ghost Dad or Twin Peaks, so I'm the wrong guy.
I never saw Ghost Dad. I just know that clip from the Skeleton Crew or whatever. I don't
right. Okay.
You remember that?
Right.
I never saw the movie. Yeah. I would never watch that.
The childhood staple.
I'm not that hard up. Oh, it is.
Well, how about the director's cut when that comes out? the robot from Rocky IV into Ghost Dad.
Yeah, well, they can't have Cosby in there. The robot's taking Cosby's part.
Yeah.
It's Ghostbot.
On the phone. Yeah. Nice. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. So see, it sounds like you were heading towards someplace with your.
No, I just said it was quite enjoyable. Like I said, I wasn't sure what I was in for at the beginning, and I was pleasantly surprised. And when a movie makes me angry, when it could draw that emotion out of me, and not, like I said, not in a negative way, like I just put myself in that situation, then I'm in. It was an 8 out of 10 for me.
Nice. Well, I'm very high on it. Like I said, I realized it this time because I was excited to watch it again, and I watched it and enjoyed it all the way through. So I've seen the movie 4 times, and I would watch it again in the near future. I really enjoy my time with that. I think it's great. I think it's a great idea, and it's very believable to me. So I'm coming in high. It's a 9 out of 10 for me.
Ooh, that is high.
Yeah, I know it is, but it's just I feel strongly about it.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it too. I'm just not coming in that high, but I would love to see, like you said, a sequel to it or something.
Yeah.
Definitely a follow-up. 7.5 out of 10.
Another. Okay. There you go.
I give a solid 8 is great.
Nice. 8 is great.
Nice.
Right
Hall
on.
of Fame.
Nice. Nice.
Did you see what he did there with 2 7.5s? How he described Night of the Demons and how he described Would You Rather, and at the same review.
Right.
At the end.
I said the third act. I said the second half / third act of Night of the Demons saves it for me. The part that Alex didn't like.
You did.
And I said the first half has good comedy, but it's boring. It is kind of boring.
Okay.
7.5 is.
No, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's the way you. I think it's
Right.
we talk in extremes. I do it too.
Yeah.
But we do end up talking in extremes sometimes, and then it's funny when it ends up coming down to that final kind of rating.
Yep, for sure. All right, well, 2 down, 2 to go. Alex has to leave us now.
Can Christian leave too?
I love you. Long time.
He's being very mean to me tonight.
Nah.
That will change next reviews.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. Great time. We should have done it years ago, but hey, better late than never, right?
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully we can do it again. Hopefully we
For
can have
sure.
another, I know you usually don't do weekends, but
Oh, man.
lately we've been able to have some weekday shows. So
Yeah.
that happens
Well-
occasionally.
If it's early enough, I can, or late enough, oddly enough. Just, that sweet spot earlier or later, whatever. Just, the middle ground is the tough one.
Yeah, no.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's been like we said earlier, it's been a long time, but we appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. If I usually you ask the guy if he wants to plug anything, but I mean, is there anything you want?
Well,
to
Other than
I sit home all day and I watch TV. I
Plug
drive around.
Christian's mouth up.
I go shopping sometimes. I was fiddling around in the backyard with some stuff, and other than that, I mean, if you want to see what I've been doing, I have a photo album on Facebook of trips we took. But other than that, yeah, I'm good.
All right. Nice. Awesome. Okay. So that's going to be that. And what's the next movie? What We Do in the Shadows. So that is what we're getting on next. What We Do in the Shadows. And let's do it.
And we're
That's
back.
the secret.
We just had to do a quick wardrobe change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, looks
We're
is out
back.
of here.
Yeah.
We changed our clothes. A little quick change action.
You retired
wish-
again.
Yeah. You retired from this show too. Yeah, well, I thought I'd try it. Fuck it. But
Yeah.
I wish I would have said this when he was on the show because he would probably appreciate it. I know he would. But there was something I wanted to say on Night of the Demons, and I didn't say. There was a line in the movie when they pull up and they were talking about something, about the Hull House. And basically, somebody asked something about it, and he says, it's the biggest one in 4 counties. Okay? That was the answer, talking about Hull House. Now, biggest one in 4 counties. That was a nod to another movie. Does anyone know what that is?
That line does sound familiar. I just assumed it was because we've just watched Night of the Demons. Biggest one in 4 counties.
Biggest one in 4
He was
counties?
talking. He said it's the biggest crematorium in 4 counties.
No, but that wasn't the word. They asked him about it, and his response was, biggest one in 4 counties. And that was just how the line was delivered in the movie that they're taking it from. And because I've seen the movie a million fucking times and know it word for word, it was like, holy shit. I go, they had to do that on purpose.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that, is it?
Same time period, but I'll give you a hint. Suck my fat one, you cheap dime store hood. Fat one? Whoever said you had a fat one, LaChance? Biggest one in 4 counties.
Breakfast Club. It's
Nope.
It's one of no shit.
LaChance.
LaChance. Gordy LaChance. No, still no. See, Alex would have known easily by now. So that's why I said I go, because he might have got it just on the line, the 4 counties. Because I know he knows that movie.
I
as
don't even
well
know
as
the
I do.
first movie. Did I say Breakfast Club twice?
You said Breakfast
no.
Club and
Ferris
Ferris Bueller.
I don't even
It's not.
remember
It's
my
not a
guesses.
horror film.
It's not a horror film. There are horror ties to it. But I can't believe you guys don't know who Gordy
I
LaChance is.
know that name. The minute you
Okay,
said
how
it,
about this?
give us another
Should have
clue.
been you. Should have been you, Gordy. And then the dream ends, and it's kind of scary. Should have been you, Gordy. I guess I'm just a pussy, huh? How about that?
All
one?
this sounds familiar, but I can't.
Chris Chambers, kid brother to Eyeball Chambers. Gordy LaChance, Teddy Duchamp, who got his ear held down.
Oh,
and got
Stand By
his
Me!
foot off. Yes.
Biggest one in 4 counties. That makes sense.
Biggest one in 4 counties.
It
And already
definitely-
points the gun at Ace Merrill, and he says, "Suck my fat one, you cheap dime store hood." And then he
Yeah.
fucking.
Shit, I can't believe it took me that long to get. However, yeah, for sure it was a reference. There's no question.
The way he delivered the line was like biggest one in 4 counties, and that 100%. I'm like, holy fuck, that's great. I never picked up on it before, So pretty
Breakfast
cool.
Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club, sure. Stand by me.
Ferris Bueller.
So listen to what the fuck happened last night. First of all, family videos are closing. Okay, sad. Monday it was Labor Day, and my wife and daughter wanted to go to Popeyes chicken. Chicken.
The funniest part of that joke was I was just about to go Popeyes, thinking that was the joke.
Yeah, Popeyes. So these 2 girls wanted to go to Popeyes chicken. It's like a 15-minute ride. I never eat that stuff because I don't eat deep fried foods, right? But they like it and they wanted to go. So I took a ride with them. It was Labor Day. I was off. Took a ride. So we get out there. Across the street from Popeye's Chicken is a family video. So I see a sign on the outside of family video says store closing, everything on sale, blowout sale. And I'm like, no shit. Now check it out. Their business has been slow for a while, as I've known. About 2 months into COVID, I went into it. I went into one near me, and I asked them what's going on with business, because I thought there just might be sales anyway, because business has been slow, and they were still there. And I was like, okay, maybe I can score some cheap Blu-rays, whatever. So I went in and I talked to the girl at the one that's closest to my house, and she goes, no, actually everything's been fine. This and that. I go, good. Stores are going to stick around, okay. But I knew that another store closed a year ago, and I missed the sale, and I was fucking pissed because I know when Blockbuster closed, I hit all the Blockbusters, got dollar Blu-rays. So I'm like, if these stores ever close, I'm going to be on it like a bonnet and fucking pounce, to buy my shit, So now, sign, store closing. So now there's like 5 or 6 family videos. So I call the one, and I go, when did you announce the store was closing? They said 4 days ago, and I'm thinking, fuck, everybody already got the good shit. But I had the day off. I'm going to go to all the family videos. I'm going to call all of them to see what's going on. So I called all of them. I called 5. There are 5 around here, actually. 4 are closing. 1 is staying open and 1 only. There is 1 family video, and it's the closest one to me, which is great. They are staying open. Every other one is fucking shutting in stores. So all these other ones are having these sales. So I went to fucking all of them that day. Drove around for 4 hours. Went to this store, went to that store. I probably bought I think I spent $70. I got a bunch of fucking Blu-rays. I got this really cool sign that says Halloween movies. So it's what they put around during Halloween time to rent. And it's like, $1 for one night and $3 for 5 nights or something. It's really cool. But it's a bygone era. You're not going to see shit like that. It's really cool. It's got like a Freddy Krueger thing in the middle. So I bought that. I bought movies. Now I see these motherfuckers. They're selling their shelves, their video shelves. And I have been talking about this for a year, since I've been in this house, 2 years, that I want to have a mock-up freaking video store in my basement. Yeah. That I want to have those shelves so I can display my movies facing forward, and it'd be a thing, because it's going to be over with, right? So check it out. They're giving these fucking things away. And I'm at these stores, but I'm by myself, and there's no way I'm going to lift them. So there's nothing I can do about it. I'm like, fuck. But I'm thinking, who else is going to do it? I have until October the 1st. Long story short, yesterday, I got 2 of them. I had a friend from work when I was getting out. We had an extra hour at the end of work, and the boss said, go ahead and do it. We were ahead of our work. She goes, go to Family Video in Lockport, which is where I work. Went over there, and I took 2. Actually, here, check it out. I have to find a room and where I'm going to set them up, but can you see them over there?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
That's 2 of them, right? But I got all this other shit, and it's going to be tough to find a way to make room. I got too many posters, but I will do it. Now, anyway, so check it out. This kid, Ryan, who I work with, has a pickup truck. He picked them up with me. We went over there, lifted him up, put him in the back of his cab. And he goes, listen, I'm working until 6 overtime. He's doing some shit. He lives near me. So he says, when I get out, I'll come by your house. We'll bring him in the house. Oh, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. He goes, who am I to stand in the way?
Just a blowjob. And we'll tell him.
So he was happy about it. He's like, because he knew how much I wanted it. So, not the blowjob, though. So he comes to the house. It's about 8:15. My brother's supposed to be coming over at like 7, and this is like 6:45. So I'm like, well, okay, so this can be the 2 of us, which is fine. So I open my front door, and I move that little latch so the door stays open so we can bring the things down. So now, about 2 minutes before, Oreo, my cat, got sick. He threw up in the freaking kitchen, and He came downstairs.
Kitchen.
Kitchen, and of course,
Oreo.
the dog ate it like the fucking sick son of a bitch. Right, so I locked her up in the cage. I said, "You get in the cage. I got to pick up puke on the floor here and the floor here," which I did. It wasn't much, but I come downstairs and Oreo was downstairs in the basement, and I come up to him. I go, "Buddy, you okay?" I rubbed his tummy, and he just looked up at me and he said, "He was fine." I'm like, "Okay, so whatever. It happens with cats sometimes." So now, about a minute later, the kid's here. Ryan, we're bringing the stuff into the basement. I know the cat's in the basement. Okay, so this takes us about 5-10 minutes to bring things in and out. I leave the front door open because I have to. Lucky goes out on the front lawn, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to travel anywhere far, so he just goes in the front lawn, he eats a little grass.
Not the kind of guy.
Yeah, he's attached. He's really attached to me and my wife. He's not the kind, he's not going nowhere. He's up our ass. He's not going to wander off. You know what I mean? So, and he does. He's deaf too. He's got, he knows he's a special needs cat. He wants to be held still. He's still like a baby.
Does
I mean,
Christian know
tomorrow.
he's a special needs editor?
What?
He's great. So now, check it out. Ryan gets done. I go to close the door. I'm getting everything around. I go downstairs to finalize a few things because I don't want them to fall on the cats. I cannot find fucking Oreo anywhere. Now Oreo is the cat that gets out. He goes in the backyard when we let the dog go in the bathroom in the backyard. It's always a fight. And he's gotten out a few times. He usually just eats grass, explores maybe 2 or 3 houses. But I got these fields and shit behind me, which go up a hill, which leads to a construction site. And it's all these fields. There's fucking wild animals and shit back there. There was a fox there I find out a couple of days ago. So
A Megan Fox?
Ooh, I wish. Fuck.
or Michael J.
She's got some funky thumbs, though.
Oreo is fucking missing.
Uh-huh.
I go everywhere. I go fucking up and down. I talk to neighbors. My brother arrived. I'm flipping out. I drive around the fucking... My daughter, luckily Francesca's staying at my mother's house it's her cat. If she knew about this, I'm fucking done. So this cat is gone. I check the house. I do this. I do that. I do everything I could think of. Oreo. It got fucking so bad. We were driving here. We went to the construction site behind. Now it's getting dark. He is not coming back. He does have a chip, a microchip, but he doesn't have an ID tag and a phone number. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what the fuck's gonna happen here? And people in the neighborhood are looking. Finally, I text my wife and I tell her, Oreo's fucking gone. Now she panics. I told her, I go, don't even come home. She called. I go, there's nothing you can do. It's about to be dark. He's either gonna come back now or we're gonna find out shit tomorrow. But now I'm bugging the fuck out. I talked to the guy over there. He tells me that there was a fox there the night before. I'm fucking on the brink of tears. I'm calling Oreo. I'm going everywhere. I'm fucking tapping his can with the spoon. I'm calling him. I cannot find. All I can think about is holy fuck, my fucking poor daughter. If he doesn't come back, and then I hear about this fox. I'm like, holy shit. I'm picturing fucking the fox getting him. This poor cat's fucking life ended. He's such a good-hearted fucking cat. He's great. And I'm like, I can't. I felt fucking horrible. It was the worst fucking night. Now, my wife comes home. The neighbors know about it. They're in the back looking. They're doing this. They're going all over the fuck. It's dark. They're out there with fucking cell phone lights looking everywhere. By this time, I have resigned. If he's not going to come back tonight, we're not going to know anything till tomorrow. Let me just try to get through the night. You know? Well, all of a sudden, my wife goes fucking downstairs, comes up. Now, believe me when I tell you, I fucking went through every room in this house, every fucking nook and every cranny. I even opened doors that were closed. Now, there's no way a cat's going to open a closed door and get on the other side and close the door, but I still did it for peace of mind because, when you lose something, you're not going to ignore, I checked every I came in this basement, looked under the couch, looked behind the couch, looked here, there, looked every fucking thing. I looked high up in shit, anything I could think of where he might be. Nothing. Well, Irene comes home. She's talking to the neighbor. She goes in and out of the house. She's motherfucking me, believe it or not. She's like, I can't believe you did this. Fucking, that girl's going to be devastated. She's giving me the fucking 3rd degree. I'm like, Jesus, but I'm sorry. How do you think I feel?
Thanks, hon. Yeah.
You know how that's how they are. Though.
Now's not a good time for a blowjob. I got a blowjob from somebody.
Well, you can probably tell that he's found. Otherwise, I wouldn't be carrying on this way.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, Irene comes in the basement. She comes upstairs. She goes up and she goes, do you know where the fuck he was? And then she walks outside. She's just talking to the neighbors. I go, that sounds like she found him. By the way, she delivered that line. I'm like, okay. Well, it turns out she came in the basement and he was in the basement. The cat never was missing.
He was in the racks?
No, the racks were right there. I moved him down just in case he jumped out because I'd be afraid of them falling on him. I don't know where he went and how she saw him. All I could think of is he got into some crazy thing, which I had no idea he can get into, and then got out. But here he is a really responsive cat. If I call his name and I'm tapping his fucking soft food with a spoon, I'm like, Oreo, 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 snap my finger. He comes out. You call him. I could call him now. He'll come downstairs. So I don't know what was going on, but when he was found and he saw me, he acted like he was afraid of me. So I think he knew that I was mad or something because I kept calling him and calling him. I don't know what the deal was, but ever since then, he's been acting weird towards me. And I didn't, I'm not, I don't know what happened.
I know what happened. I think I know what happened. That coworker of yours said he saw this cat outside. And it came up to him, and it was kind of weird, and and it just looked feeble. So he wanted to take it home and take care of it.
Actually, you know what probably happened? He probably got scared when you were bringing the shelves in, got really spooked by it. And that's probably what happened. And he ran and he hid probably in your mic stand there, in your box there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is there shit in the box there?
How's your pop filter smell?
Right. But all kidding aside, I don't know where he went, but it was a fucking catastrophe in the Z household last night. It was out of control. I don't know where he went. Like, I'm telling you, I looked in every possible place he could ever be. I'm not going to be walking the fucking streets and going everywhere and telling people he's gone unless I thoroughly check the house. And I would still come back in the house every few minutes and still check the house a second time just to make sure. So I don't know what happened. Thank goodness he's here. But something happened. Obviously, he did get spooked when we were moving the stuff because he does. He's kind of skittish like that.
Yeah.
He's real tough when it comes to any other animal, or he's a hunter. If there's a fly in any fucking thing in the house, he is relentless. He will get any fucking animal, any insect that comes in the house, he's fucking pouncing. But when it comes to people, he's very skittish. He will fucking run off if he hears some things. He's like a scaredy cat.
Did your coworker come downstairs with the shelves? Maybe that freaked him out.
Probably, but I mean, to be still hiding after an hour for no reason?
Not the shelves, the guy, you freak.
Yeah, the guy pulled out his dong and double stuffed Oreo.
It's time for payment.
Yeah, I'm gonna double stuff you.
Yeah.
So people, if you have cats, if they are chipped or if they're not chipped, get a fucking ID on their tag that has their name and their phone number. Because he has a glow in the dark collar, which is nice, and he's chipped, but still, it was a scary fucking thing. And I know because of what happened last night, nothing like that will ever happen again. I'm not gonna keep a door open even for a fucking second with somebody else around. I'll deal with it some other way. But I was so mad because I'm like, my selfish ass, because I wanted these fucking shelves. I cost this fucking cat his life. You have no idea the fucking guilt I was putting myself through. And then my wife came home and she was giving me shit. And I was like, and I told her, I go, you have no idea what the fuck I've been feeling here for the fucking pay. I couldn't eat. I was fucking sick. Seriously, I was fucking on the brink of tears. I was trying.
I know.
Build your own shelves.
Yeah.
You can't build
cats.
Those are video store shelves. You'll never see those again. That's what's fucked up. There's only one family video store left. When that store closes, which eventually it's going to, that's a bygone era that will never fucking come back. That we're never going to have video stores again. We're lucky to have the ones we do.
These are from an adult video store, and I just love. Oh wait.
What are you fucking jerking off? What is he doing?
Sticky, because they're from an adult video.
Thank you for getting the joke. It was so bad.
The way you were moving, I thought you were jerking it.
I thought you were about to push the whole fucking shelf.
Fuck this story.
I thought he was jerking his merkin. Right? Is that a thing? It's got to be, right? Jerking his merkin. Now that I know what a merkin is.
Yeah, you talked about a merkin
sure
15 times on the show, and last night you're like, the other time, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
I keep murking my way back to you, babe.
I don't understand it. It's the opposite of B. B has everything shaved. This is someone that's lost their pubic hair and they put a fucking a toupee of pubic hair, basically.
I only learned about it because I watched a comedian once and he had cancer and he talked about how ridiculous it was that, you know, he saw like a guy came to him and talked to him about merkins, which is basically a wig for your pubes. I guess some people. I mean, most
makes
people
your dick look even bigger to being bare.
Yeah, I can't make it look any smaller.
Yeah, you always have to shave. It gives. We've talked about it on the show.
I got to shave
a quarter-inch
it.
curve. You got to shave behind.
Mine looks like Fidel Castro smoking the tail end of a Cuban. The very tail end. He's got like 1 or 2 puffs left before that thing just ashes to the ground.
Oh shit!
It's like the ZZ Top.
No legs to be found.
Eggs, right? Awesome. Okay, well that's out of the way. Let's get back to these movies, shall we? I told these guys I got to tell the story, but how could I not tell the story about it? Everything that led to it? All because of family video and this and that and the other thing. And
that's terrifying. I've actually had that experience as well, with a dog getting loose and took over an hour to find him, but it's terrifying. It's the worst because you're like, I'm never seeing this dog again, never gonna know, and it's the worst feeling ever. So
it is.
But you know, both stories had happy endings at least.
Right, thank goodness.
Yeah,
it's hard with a dog because my brother was telling me, he goes, if this was a dog, that's a lot of times if a dog gets the fuck out, good luck. He goes, cats. He was saying that the family down the street from us when we were kids, they had a house cat just like us, never goes out, but the cat escaped and came back 4 days later. He goes, cats are known to come back. And I go, yeah, but I don't know about a cat like this that never leaves. Ones that go back and forth, yes, but he goes, no. He goes, they had a house cat just like you that was always inside, and he came back 4 days later. So I had hope, and I didn't think anything was. But when that guy mentioned the fox, I fucking bugged. I'm like, oh my god, he's not gonna get by the night if he's fucking back.
Would have been bad though when you had to tell Frankie you can't come back for 5 days.
Right. And in the middle of this, I'm talking to my wife on the phone. She called because first I texted her, but she's busy at work. She finally has a minute to call, and she calls me and she's talking to me and she's saying something about this, and we're talking about Francesca, and Francesca's calling me, and I didn't even answer the phone. I said I can't answer the phone. It was almost like she picked up my vibe.
Dad, please help me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something was happening to her. The fox got her.
She's like Abra from Dr. Sleep.
Yeah.
I just had this horrible dream about Oreo.
But I couldn't call her back. There was no way. I was not gonna tell her anything until she came home. And imagine having to break that news to this poor girl. Oh, but thank goodness. So people, put tags and freaking everything you can on your animals, please.
And don't buy video shells.
Yes, don't be an idiot like me and leave a door open, even if it's for 5 minutes. So, and with that, speaking of cats, what we do in the shadows. How about it?
Glad cat?
Yeah, or bats.
Glad cat. All right. What We Do in the Shadows, 2014, written and directed by Jermaine Clement and Taika Waititi. Viago, Deacon, and Vladislav are vampires who are finding that modern life has them struggling with the mundane, like paying rent, keeping up with the chore wheel, trying to get into nightclubs, and overcoming flatmate conflicts. That's literally the description on the day, which is fun.
Really?
It really should just say that the whole setup is a documentary crew, recording them leading up to the Unholy Masquerade, which is a secret society gala for vampires and other undead.
There you go.
Taking place.
Was this came out in 14, right? So, but really released in 15 because I think we talked about it in our first year-end show.
15 it made our list.
3 episodes in. So I kept it off my list because I'm like, yeah, I liked it, but I don't really consider it horror, so I kept it off my list. And you guys were arguing, oh, you're crazy. And I'm not saying it definitely is amazing. It's an amazing movie. I love it way more than I did the first time. And yeah, I have no problem with it being on the list. I don't know. Like I told Brandon earlier, I had a stick up my ass, I guess, back then. But I definitely, I've watched it. This is my 3rd time. And I've loved it. I couldn't stop laughing this last time.
Yeah, man.
Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement, their comedy, I love their comedy. I mean, I love Flight of the Conchords. I'm
watching it now for the first time. I'm about 8 episodes in.
Oh, nice. Are you enjoying it? Well, I guess you are. Otherwise, you probably would have stopped watching.
I'm enjoying it, but I will tell you this. The fucking show, What We Do in the Shadows, I started watching it 2 weeks ago because it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
And my wife and I started watching it, and I was gonna put a post up in the group page because of how much it is fucking top notch. I'll say this:
That's what I've heard.
the show is more. And after watching the show nonstop because we banged through 2 seasons in like fucking I don't know a week. We just went right through it, and then we went back to Flight of the Conchords because I never saw it, but I saw that and loved it. Right, so I'm watching the show, and then I watched the movie, of course, for this. And as I'm watching the movie, I'm thinking the movie is much more horror than the show is. The show is more straight up comedy. However, it is actually funnier than the movie is. So the show is more comedy and even funnier. Yes, but looking at the movie and the stuff they do in the movie, there are more horror elements in the movie than there are the show. But I cannot put the movie and the show over any more than Flight of the Conchords is great. It's not everybody's type of comedy, I don't think. I happen to think, right? But I think that anyone watching or listening to this podcast will love, and that likes the movie will fucking love the show because it is top-notch shit. For real.
Top-notch.
Yeah, top-notch. And it was our number, hold on, I wrote it down here. It was our number 27 for the top 100 voted by everybody. Our 27 movie. It was my number 3 in 2015. So I've always been high on it, but I keep getting higher. But I'll tell you what, because I'm enjoying the show so much, it almost, in a way, hurt the movie because of how good the show is. How it's so quick with the fucking wit and the jokes, like every other line. It's just
I might have to give the show another chance.
I
tried watching and I couldn't get
Really?
even though, Taika Waititi's pretty much, connected with the show. I just couldn't get into it. I'm just such a big fan of his that I just couldn't get into the show. But
still created and wrote it. Well, I'm talking about Jermaine, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about Viago.
Right. Yeah,
I
don't know
who did Jojo Rabbit last year and won an Oscar for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That movie was great too. That's my wife's favorite movie of last year.
Phenomenal. Yeah, it might be one of my favorites of last year too.
I thought that movie was about fucking what's his name? I thought that was about Richard Pryor. It was about autobiography about when he burned himself up and some other shit.
Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor from that
Richard
premise.
Pryor made it. Richard Pryor made the movie, and it was kind of like he started it, he made it. It was half an autobiography, but it was also fiction.
That was Brewster's Millions.
No, it wasn't. It was Jojo Rabbit. Brewster's Millions. It was the only serious film that Richard Pryor ever did.
Oh, the toy. with Master Bates.
Wonder Wheel.
Are you talking about
Richard
what
Pryor.
the fuck could it be?
Too.
So do I, but it's not Jojo Rabbit.
Huh?
It's not Jojo Rabbit, that's for sure.
Okay, well that when I heard that title, that's what I thought about that Richard Pryor movie. It was his only serious film. Yeah, well either way.
I gotta see what the fuck he's talking about.
Huh?
I don't know what you're talking about. I need to know.
He's
look up Richard Pryor fucking autobiography movie or something and see what pops up. You know what I mean? But all the Jermaine, whatever his name is, he's the creator. He's kind of like the Ryan Murphy for American Horror Story for what we do in the shadows. And he does appear in one episode as his old his character as
Vlad the Poker.
The Poker.
Jojo Dancer in 1986. Your Life is Calling.
Yeah, Jojo Dancer. Okay, whatever.
And the sequel, Jojo Rabbit.
You know?
the Jojo double feature.
That would be great at a drive-in. Everybody's so fucking driving crazy these days. Oh, drive-ins. You know what I mean? Fucking, that'd be a great double feature.
You're right. The drive-ins? Yeah, you're right. That's become like a huge thing all of a sudden.
Oh, obviously.
Fuck drive-ins.
Yeah, fuck them is right. The sound quality and the fucking picture quality is ass.
How do they do it now? Do they still do it with the speaker on the outside of the thing?
No, it's radio.
In the radio. Yeah, it's in the radio, which is better.
It's an FM.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not going to pay fucking money to go watch fucking Shelley Duvall fucking Hello Again and fucking Steve Martin and Lily Tomlin All of Me just because it's at a fucking drive-in when I can fucking watch it right in front of my house here or in my house. You know what I mean? I don't get the appeal. of going to see old movies at the drive-in that are just regular movies. If it's like a Friday the 13th, yes, that's different. But I mean, just any old people are just going to the drive-in just because it's at the drive-in. Let's go see fucking, I don't know, some fucking second-rate Bill Murray fucking comedy.
JoJo Dancer.
Yeah, let's go see JoJo Dancer and fucking Bustin' Loose. The Richard Pryor double feature at the drive-in just because they're playing. I mean, to each their own.
It's the JoJo Dancer. Fuck, that's funny.
JoJo Dancer. Yeah.
Well, this guy also made. Getting back to the movie.
Was that Elton John's song? "Hold Me Closer, JoJo Dancer"? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he also did the last Thor movie, which was fantastic.
Yes.
Thor. Oh, Thor. THOR. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was an audience favorite. I mean, and it's one of the best Paulie Marvel movies. Actually, funny enough, I think that's my wife's favorite Marvel movie.
I love Thor Ragnarok. That was one of my favorites as well. That and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were probably my favorites. But
now that I mention it, it just might be my wife's new favorite filmmaker because she loved this movie, loved Thor,
Nice.
and loved Jojo Rabbit and Dancer.
Yeah, and I went back and I watched last year. I watched one of his earlier films, Eagle versus Shark, and like a really good independent film. So he's quality.
Eagle versus Shark. Really? Is it a comedy? Is it a fucking?
Yeah, it's an independent comedy.
I didn't know if it was like like Sharkosaurus or fucking.
No, it's not. No,
character.
no, there's no monsters. It's like a.
Okay, just making sure, But your wife will love the fucking show. See, watch what we do in the shadows, dude. It's so good that I had to look it up to see if there was going to be a season 3, and it has been confirmed. And it was up for 8 fucking Emmys last year. That's how I'm telling you. When I tell you it's a fucking top-notch fucking show, it is in every. And at first I didn't know because it's none of the characters from the movie. And I don't know if you guys remember, but we remember they were talking about there being a show, but it was supposed to be about the cops that were in the scene. When the cops come to the house and get hypnotized. Originally, they said there was going to be a show, and those were going to be the central characters. I'm like, who the fuck? I don't want to see that. A show about these fucking
cops are hilarious.
Yes, but I don't want to see a whole show about just them. I want to see about the vampires.
That would be called Cops.
Yeah. Reno 911 or whatever.
You see what I'm seeing? And they shine a spotlight right on Nick floating in the ceiling. Like, yep, absolutely no smoke detector.
Yeah.
And then they're down in the basement. They're like, yeah, look, no smoke detectors. He's like, yes, there are. Oh yeah, look, there they are. Without like missing a beat. That's where the comedy is. Like, I don't see any smoke detectors down here. And then he's like, yes, there are. And he's like, oh yeah, there they are, right there.
Everything is funny. The ones that are outright funny, and then the whole secondary cast who plays everything straight, and they're hilarious just from how serious they take everything. Like the two friends, the guy that gets attacked by a werewolf, and
Stu. They love Stu. I love the deacons knitting Stu a scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that this started as a short? It was made in 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I plan to because I just looked that up. Yeah. Wow.
Watch it when you're short on time.
I call that Watson. When I'm Watson on time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Watson films are the best.
Oh, Mamma Mia, you guys. Poor Watson.
All right,
he's
how
not
about that
listening,
opening
Dave.
montage show? I love that song. Do they use that song for the show?
Yes, every fucking episode.
They do. You're dead.
Yes.
That's a great
out of
song.
this world. Oh, it's fucking great.
Dude, that song is great. And when they start showing like the photos and all the whole montage of them throughout history, it's hilarious. And just I don't know, it's brilliant comedy.
It is.
It's brilliant because not only is it funny, it's the way it's delivered, the cadence, the rhythm to it.
Dude,
everything about
go
it.
Go back to that scene. Sorry, see.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Oh no, I'm saying go back to that scene that you were just talking about, and with the people that come in the house, the two cops.
Yeah.
And on the way up, somebody throws a line, and I think it was Vlad. He goes, "Well, wait a minute," because they were talking. He made him stop. He goes, "Hold on a minute." He goes, "I want to see what other fucking
Yes.
fucking guidelines they have." And then the other guy says, "We'll pick it up at the next flat meeting." And then the cop agrees, "Yes, you guys do that." Just it's so fucking quick-witted.
It is, yeah.
I think. I'm not going to blow my load yet. I'm just going to say that I'm very high on this movie, and I just watched Shaun of the Dead the other day for summer series, and for years I've said that is the perfect mix of horror and comedy and everything else. And I rate this movie higher than I rate Shaun of the Dead. I don't know.
I do too.
Yeah.
This was, I think,
Sean's great.
Yeah.
Great, but this
made my top 10 in 2015. 2015 year was a mess for me. I think this was like my number 7, and I think I gave it a 9 out of 10. I can't even justify giving this film a 9 out of 10 at this point because I can't find anything wrong with this film.
Yeah.
I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this film. It's perfect from start to finish. It's hilarious from start to finish. Every character is perfect. I love the cops. I don't want to see a show of them, but even the end, when they with the dog, when they find the dog, like we found the culprit, they bring like this sweet border collie over. Like he's gonna have to be put down. Like, oh look, he's getting hungry again. He's wagging his tail.
Everything about it, and that's why there's a follow-up announced called Werewolves. If you didn't know that,
we've been talking about it for years.
Yeah,
I know.
So it's been announced. I don't know if there's no date attached to it, but I mean that would be great too because that whole interaction between the two groups, both times has been, or is it 3 times? At least both times that I remember anyway, is hilarious. Like
the 3rd time is when they come to the house at the end when they become friends.
Yeah, that's
the second time in the woods when he's like, Deacon, where's your tracksuit? You can't wear those pants. You know how big you get.
All you in jeans. All you in jeans.
Yeah, all you in jeans. Take off what you don't want to lose. Like who would have thought to ever film a scene like that? And Rhys Darby, who plays the head of the Werewolves, who's also Murray in Flight of the Conchords, he's hilarious in everything he does. I love him as well. And
was he in Prevenge? Was he one of the characters in Prevenge? I thought it was him. But then when I went back to check quickly, I didn't see his name on there. Wasn't he the guy that girl? Sorry?
He's a New Zealander, and Prevenge is not a New Zealand film.
I thought he played that one boy, that guy that she dates, that she ends up slitting his throat or something.
Him? Oh.
Nah.
Who's that guy that smelled like fat birds? Is that him? I don't know. I love that. I say it all the time. I like fat birds. But then Brandon
everything about
like Elton John.
Yeah, Olivia Newton says you look like that. Olivia Newton-John, you look more like Elton John.
Peter, that joke was fucking hilarious in that movie. Peter is great.
Peter's 8,000 years old. He will not be attending the house meeting.
He doesn't have to come. Yeah, he's
the flat meeting. He's 8,000 years old.
In the beginning with the dishes and all that shit, the conversation. I mean, you got to do dishes. They go over there and they show it's like fucking 10 feet high and it's blood all over him.
Yeah, it's been 5 years since he's done the dishes.
What's the thing? The things that Nick did wrong, or was it the reasons we don't like Nick? One of the things, and they're listing them, and like killing Peter was like 3rd or 4th. They're like, maybe that should have been number 1.
Yeah, but he says we wanted to build to that.
Yeah. That's all this review is going to be. Is that's just reciting the things we thought were funny.
Really, I mean, it's so funny. Viago, every time he brings a girl over, they show it twice. When he's killing the date he's on, and when he kills Josephine, he keeps hitting the main artery.
Oh.
And the first one, the girl he's going out with, he's laying down the newspaper as he's talking to her.
Yeah, it's great.
And he puts the bib on.
Yeah.
I think the best line though of the whole thing is when they're talking about virgins, and then he says, "Well," and he goes, "The thing about virgins is," he goes, "Look at it this way: if you were going to eat a sandwich, you would enjoy it more knowing that no one had fucked it."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great line. Yeah, they dispel that myth because he even says drinking. I think we drink virgin blood because it sounds cool.
All that, like making fun of the lore, incorporating the lore, and then also the use of the whole mockumentary style, and just how flawless it is, like with the effects and everything. When they get mad and they just fly up in the air and they kind of like are about to sound off on one another and whatever. That's just great, and it's so matter of fact, like it just happens, like as if it's happening right in front of you, like it should. So it's really just so well done and kind of seamless in its execution.
I like when they go into town the first time, and the guys are like, $5 get you in. It's like, can you invite me in? Can you invite me in? Just invite me in.
That's what's great because you don't think about that. These are things in vampire that no one ever thought to talk about. Like, because think of it, they live forever. What are they gonna do? What's gonna happen? If they fall in love, they're gonna outlive them unless they turn them into vampires themselves. How are they gonna get by in society? They have to go in places.
Poor Philip. Poor Philip. Been 90 years. I haven't done anything with my life.
Yes. All because he fucked up and sent him to the wrong. I don't blame him though. Because of him, he lost the love of his life because the guy put the wrong postage.
I love right as he's about to hang on to it. It's been 90 years. I haven't done anything with my life. Disconnect. I love that Stu is showing them how to use all the technology, and then Stu Stu shows them how to send a text message, and Deacon freaks out because the text message says there's a crucifix behind you. Oh gosh! And
then he says, "Leave me alone. Leave me alone to do my dark bidding."
Oh yeah, Vlad when he's all old looking.
Nobody, but he says, "Leave me." Yeah, he is old looking.
What are you bidding on?
He's bidding on a table. He's bidding on a table.
On this table on the internet. He said, "My dark bidding." It's so fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh,
no, it really is. And this doesn't even scratch the surface of it. It's just seamless. And the fact that they incorporate, like when they show The Office, they very rarely acknowledge the fact that they're being filmed documentary style. Whereas this one, they incorporate the fact that it's just like, who are these people? Or they're at the party, like, who invited this cameraman and that cameraman?
Right.
And he even said, like, he even jokes that, well, don't touch this cameraman. That one might be okay. Like, he's expendable almost, or whatever it may be. There's so many little things like that throughout the whole film that are great.
Even the opening referencing that they were given, that they wore crucifixes and they were granted protection for the filming of this.
Yes. Yeah.
What about when he wears the thing of silver and he's trying to hold on wearing it and it's just burning into him? It's like, and his face is like...
That's about as long as I could wear that.
We'll put a smile on your face. I can only I liked this the first time, but I think I just didn't sit down and actually give it my full attention. Because then I watched it with my wife and we were losing it. And then she asked me what I was watching the other night, because I guess she was upstairs working, and I was like watching it and I was laughing my head off, and she could hear it. She's like, "What are you watching?" I go, "What we're doing in the shadow." And then she said, "Dave, we got to watch the show," because she heard the show was good too. Now I'll just tell her, Dave says we've got to watch a show, and it's going to be on in 2 minutes.
Nice. She knows what's up.
How do you
Absolutely.
Do you like biscotti?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Lost Boys thing is great. Yeah. And then he tries it later on him with
Cobra Cock,
with French fries, with chips, and he's like, it only works on stuff that's already shaped like worms.
Right.
This is not cool. He made my cock look like a cobra.
Yeah. Turn my cock into it. Yeah. And what's it called? When they let Peter out. It's like sort of like how you thought Oreo got out when Peter gets nicked. They're like, who let Peter out?
Yeah, it was like that. Yeah. And he said, poor guy. And I didn't know why at first, because Peter loves turning people into vampires. Yeah. He doesn't necessarily eat them all the time as victims and drink their blood, because he turned Viago. They talked about it. He goes,
he turned Deacon.
Deacon, I'm sorry. Yeah. He turned Deacon. Yeah. So it's so cool because Peter's 8,000 years old. The other ones are like,
I was selling my wares.
Yeah.
I love how Vlad says, that is why I still look 16 years old.
Yeah.
So of course, 16 years was a rough life back then. There's so much great stuff in this.
And when they're playing around in the mirror and he goes, the Ghost Cup and the Pac-Man thing.
The Pac-Man thing was great.
I never get this though. And I know it's just the reality of it. When he's like a floating cup. Why are his clothes invisible too?
Oh yeah,
like it
should be an invisible man.
Yeah.
Right.
His clothes should be visible. A floating cup.
You just debunked every fucking vampire movie ever, because anytime, and even the old Dracula, anytime you see a vampire in a mirror, you don't see anything. But you're right, you should see their clothes.
Are his clothes vampiric? Like, was that what he was bitten in? And it's just become like part of him? Like, it's funny because the Invisible Man, it was like, if in the case of what's his face, Chevy Chase, it was an experiment gone wrong, making his clothes, I think, invisible as well. But in the case of like the regular one, it would just be him. And a vampire, you would assume, would just be their body, not their clothes as well. I'm not taking points off the movie because it's history. Like you just said, it's every freaking vampire movie.
You're right, but that's what we should do. When we make our movie, we should have someone be a vampire, and they show, and they could even use that as a line. They go, well, don't worry, they won't see me because I'm in the mirror, so I'll do this and I'll be able to sneak up. And then he tries to do it, and he gets busted, and someone will say, hey, look at that, there's floating clothes. You know, that'd be fucking great. That it blows his cover because, you know.
Is that like the polar bear in the snow, and it's because he has a big black nose?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is either.
The polar bear keeps trying to sneak up on the rabbit, but he can't get him.
Jojo Rabbit?
But he can't get him. And he's like, what gives? He's like, you want me to tell you? It's your big black nose. I can see it coming. And then he covers it with his paw. He's like, you see it now? He's like, no, now I can't see it. And then he eats the rabbit.
That's like that joke in Friday the 13th Part 2. Wow, nice. Anything with a bear and a rabbit is going to take me back to that. Did you guys know they were putting out those things for Friday the 13th Part 2? Those lost, those lost scenes.
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to be funny.
Brandon did know. I knew.
I got scared. I was like, uh-oh. We're done.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going.
Count to 10, human again. Count to 10, human again. Count to 10.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I'll tell you what the horror elements. When the people are killed, no fucking CGI blood squirts.
No.
It's fucking real. The one kill is amazing with the fucking blood going everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there's comedy afterwards. Oh, that wasn't supposed to go that way and all that other shit. But when the werewolves turn, they look fucking badass.
They look phenomenal.
Great
Phenomenal.
werewolf transformations for, again, the shaky mockumentary cam style. It was great. And the servant. What about the servant? The jokes with the servant cleaning the blood after. I know you guys mentioned
Jackie.
Yeah, she's
Jackie.
great.
Like, I'm gonna have to penalize you 10 years for this.
You guys stay for the post-credit sequence too. You will not remember anything in this movie. That's
damn it.
after the credits. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end, Deacon at the very end, the last scene after the credits.
Oh, that's cool.
Nick telling everyone he's a vampire. You can't. Oh yeah, well I'm a vampire hunter. Fuck you. No, you're not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're a vampire hunter, and sure enough, yeah.
Crucifix, cover it up. Cover it up.
Yeah.
Are these made out of table legs? Did they whittle these themselves?
Oh man, there's just so much. I mean, God, it just goes on and on. Even the beginning of it, he finds the fucking. Well, you got to clean up, Peter. What is this? A spinal column on the floor? He's got all that shit. They talk about how old they are, and lads off.
Well, you're saying good gore, and I got you guys off that. I'm sorry, but you're right because I didn't know if you're finished your thought there, but there are some really good gore sequences that are not CG, and then the vampire or the werewolf transformations are good. The makeup was great. Like when you mentioned when he's doing his dark bidding, or is that the part where he's all
old looking because he hasn't eaten in a while because he's all depressed.
When he goes to the ball, you notice that he has the Dracula
hair?
Bram Stoker hair. Yeah,
yeah, fucking great. That whole thing with the beast
Francis Ford Coppola,
yeah,
Dracula.
You don't remember your former lover, Georgie?
Yeah.
5 years after Georgie.
Yeah.
And then it takes him like a minute to take
asshole.
Oh, asshole. Hello, beast. Hello, asshole.
That shit's great. They talk about the beast the whole movie, and then we find out what we find. It's fucking great the way they do that.
And then the way they try to get Stu out of there, I'm like, wow. I love how they love Stu. They describe him. Is he not the reddest guy you've ever met?
Yeah, his red cheeks. Look at those rosy red cheeks. And then you just want to eat them, but you don't. He's like, oh, it's awesome.
It's
God.
like, and that's why I love Nick's performance too, because it's just so serious. Like he's just so dull and just bland, but it's what makes it so much funnier.
Yeah, his performance is so dry but so funny. When he has to do the procession of shame.
Oh yeah.
Like we didn't want to do this, and they're just shame. Like,
how about when they have the bat fight later?
The bat fight? Yeah, he rips his jacket. Deacon doesn't like that he's wearing the same jacket as him.
Yes. And they go ahead and he throws him into the fucking wall, and he's no longer a bat.
Yeah, dude, those effects too. The transforming the bat to human, that's fantastic stuff.
Yes.
Vlad as a cat.
What about the
the
argument?
face!
The argument of indefinitely. Wasn't that the argument they were having? Like, I didn't write it down. I just indefinite means
definitely. That means you can never come back again. No, indefinitely means it's not definitely. It's only going to be for a certain amount of time. It could be 6 weeks. Oh, it's great.
So tomorrow, it's definitely not tomorrow. He's saying tomorrow. He's like, and Nick's like, I come back tomorrow. He's like, it's definitely not tomorrow.
It's so fucking good.
It really is.
I'm telling you. And I'm thinking about the show. They do the bat thing with the show all the time.
Yeah.
Like they'll do it. Like they do it really brief here. In the show, it happens out. They just go bat and they turn into a bat and they fly and they implement it. And then in the show they have another kind of vampire. They have an emotional vampire. I guess that's like an expression someone talks that fucking says. But that's his gig. He goes to
an emotional friend is what it's called. Yeah,
goes to a fake. He goes to a fucking fake job, and he goes there and he just bores people to death with all his incessant talking and this and he feeds off their fucking emotion from their boredom, and that's how he feeds instead of feeding off blood. It's really cool, man.
Oh, no, that's different than an emotional friend, but that's funny. That's still funny.
Yeah, it's an emotional vampire, because then my wife says, she goes, oh, that's what my uncle is, because she talks to his uncle on the phone, and every time she has to eventually get off the phone because it's all this fucking gloom and doom and all this other shit. And I guess that's an expression that he's an emotional vampire, not an emotional. Draining. I don't know. There's some type of term that people say about people like that, and that's what they end up casting this guy as. Someone that every time you talk to them, it's all gloom and doom, or they crying about their fucking life, and just dealing with them, they drain you.
Yeah.
So therefore, they're an emotional vampire.
It's no wonder this type of movie would work great as a show, because we're not really talking about story, because it's not really much to this story. Like we said, it's just a documentary crew following them around for a period of months, but it's very much like The Office. It's just day to day. The mundane activities that you don't think about that vampires would do. Like, they're not always out just killing and, feeding or sleeping in coffins.
It's kind of what that Behind the Mask is for slashers.
Yeah.
But I still think that could be done to this level. I think that's still
could, yes.
I think it's here and it could be here. And what you do in the shadows has done that for vampires and for werewolves in that one scene. So I'd love to see a werewolf spinoff. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. 82 minutes done. And it's great.
I didn't even realize it was so short. I always felt like this movie was longer because it packs so much into such a short period of time. So much comedy and so much character development.
The mundane is the perfect way to put it. Like, that's why I think Behind the Mask has good elements, but it doesn't get to that level. I would love to see the mundane life of Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
People have made memes.
Yeah,
and
what's
jokes
he doing when he's not killing? What's he doing? What's he laying around in his shack in the woods? But no, that's what's so great about it.
Masturbating in that toilet. I totally want to see it with the curtain closed.
Or how horrible it is to actually string someone up to be like a scare an hour down the road. To pop up and fall down out of a tree or something. Like all the crappy, boring stuff. The B footage or the B roll.
That's what
Remember?
This is. This movie is a perfect B-roll film. I mean, Deacon gets mad when Nick floats up to him. Why can't you use the front door? The neighbors are watching. I was just showing them an erotic dance. He was showing the other two an erotic dance.
It's great. And it would have been in retrospect, I probably should have had it on my list, and it would have been probably number one. If I had to be really serious, but I didn't have it on my list. But the great thing about doing the show and getting to do reviews much later is you get to revisit the films, and then we get to talk about them. Honestly, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect option.
I totally agree. 10 out of 10. I love the end when Stu reappears and he's a werewolf now, and he said, "Look, he looks like Seal." And then they invite the werewolves in. He's like, don't pee on anything. Don't lick anything.
Yeah.
It was my number 17, my personal number 17 for of the millennium.
That I can check.
Decade.
That I can check where I had it.
It was
on
my number
list.
17 because I gave it a 9.5. I didn't give it because remember I only gave 6 tens of the millennium. So I gave it a 9.5. What?
It was my number 5 of the millennium.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
No, and I didn't even have it on my list because again, I had gone off my other thing of just not having it on the list, which is stupid. But oh well. But that's great. That's
okay.
awesome that you guys had it that high. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I keep going up because now it was a 9. Then it was a 9.5. The first time I saw it, I was a 9. What was my number 3 of that year? What a fucking year that is, too. Getting back to that, 2015. If I look at the movies that I rated that year, what my top 3 were, they were fucking Bone Tomahawk was a 10 at the time. It Follows was a 9.5. What We Do in the Shadows a 9, and Krampus a 9. Now, if I'm going back and doing that year, Krampus would be number 1 with a 10. What We Do in the Shadows would be number 2 with a 10. It Follows 9.5, and Bone Tomahawk 9 or 9.5.
Aren't those the following year? It Follows and Bone Tomahawk?
No, because I have my list right here from I have all of our lists from when we did the show. So my top 10 that year, that was it. Bone Tomahawk, It Follows, What We Do in the Shadows, Krampus, Editor, Deathgasm, and on and on. Yep.
Yeah, and I think I'd agree with your top 2 there.
This is 2016 then?
Now you're confusing me. I'm only talking about my list for the 2015. Okay? We did the show.
Do you have my list?
No, I have my shit saved, like in my phone. For years of all my ratings.
That's when we didn't see Krampus. Remember, Brandon, we didn't make it out to the theater in time.
See it.
And we didn't see it until right after.
He was saying It Follows for 2015, and I could have sworn 2015 was spring. Spring
was that same year. You're correct.
Okay, so spring, a girl walks home alone at night. What We Do in the Shadows, Final Girls.
There you go. Yeah, I have Final Girls. It's like
those 4 were 2015, and those 4 films all appeared in my top 10 of the millennium.
So what a year, 2015.
So that's probably one of your favorite years
of the decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it too.
Yeah, and I just started repeating off of you. But 2015, yeah, I think I had It Follows on the list too. I'm not sure where that appeared on my decade. But 2015 and 16, I always say, and I would say it now confidently, those were the 2 best years by far.
I think you might be onto that.
2016 was fucking insane with Neon Demon, Black Coat Starter, Invitation, Southbound, The Witch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that I think those 2 years were my favorite years.
Man, great stuff. So anyway, Hall of Fame, perfect score.
Yeah,
absolutely deserves it. It's a fantastic film.
It really is. It really is. And one more movie. And I'm going to say before we get to the final movie that Kevin has great taste because I really enjoy all 4 of these movies. I know not everybody did, but for me, every one of these movies is rated pretty high.
I meant to say this. I thought Alex liked Night of the Demons, which is the reason why he was joining. So I was shocked at how much he didn't like the film.
No, yeah. He knows the movie well. He's never seen the other one, but he's just joining because it was a weekday.
That's fine. I wasn't questioning. I guess I was questioning. I was shocked because I just, for whatever reason, thought he did love that movie.
He would have been a fan. Well, you would think he would be. He loves those 80s type of movies and everything else. And, he doesn't watch a whole lot of newer horror. And that's a classic from the 80s. So you would think that would be right. Just like I showed him Waxworks. He'd never seen Waxwork, and I showed it to him for that show that's never going to come out. But we reviewed it. It was supposed to come out in October for Skeleton Crew. And that's the movie I brought to the table because I thought it was 100% in it. Because he like Return of the Living Dead is like in his top 3. He loves that type of shit. So Waxwork to me has that type of feel to it. 80s fucking comedy.
A lot of people hate the characters in that. A lot of people hate the characters and the pacing of the movie. I really like that movie. I actually liked the more action adventure horror of part 2. It's like the Army of Darkness version of Waxwork, actually.
You're right, and interesting that Bruce Campbell was in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Alex. Yeah, Alex just ended up thinking it was good, but I thought he was going to be like, "Oh man, this is a gem I never saw from the '80s." And he was like, "Yeah, it was good." I don't know what the rating was. Probably like a 7 or something going by ours. But I thought he was going to be like higher into it. But you just never know. But that's what I thought. You would think that they'd be up his alley, but what are you going to do? But this next movie, I'm really curious. I have a feeling Brandon, because I know this motherfucker loves those cop-out endings. He's going to be mad because the ending wasn't a cop-out. But We'll get to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Brandon's gonna love the fucking movie. But usually we have disagreements because I love evil supernatural.
It didn't make my list last year, so that's a clue. And I saw this last year, so.
Well, yeah, but this is the second view, so who knows? You know what I mean? Like with me, the first time I saw it, I rated it higher than I did this. The first time I saw it, it would have made my top 19. The second time I saw it, it went down ever so slightly that it didn't, and it's still there. You know what I mean? But it didn't make my top 19, but I still quite enjoyed it. But in C, I have no idea.
All right.
Let's introduce it. Yeah, let's get it done.
2019's I Trapped the Devil, written and directed by Josh Lobo. A man descends into paranoia after trapping what he believes to be the devil in his basement, but things take a dark turn when his family unexpectedly arrives for Christmas. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I would say that. Sorry, I'll just I'll say about something really quick. If this was made 20 years ago, people would be blowing it left, right, and center.
Absolutely. You know what the best part of this movie is? You know what the best part of this movie is, to me? The sound design.
It's great. And the score?
The score, yeah. The music and the sound design, it adds a level of atmosphere to this movie that's...
Which needs it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If this movie doesn't have atmosphere, it's boring and it's fucking an hour of people talking.
No, you're right, but it does it so well, better than a lot of movies.
This movie succeeds as a low budget picture. I could see people being bored by it, but I think he does everything that he can do to keep people engaged with the characters in the story. One location, a handful of actors, well done. His shot selection, the lighting, the feeling of dread and uncertainty is great. Like I was like, put it on. It was the first time watch. I got to get it watched. It was my last movie. I didn't know what to expect, and I was like, I'll watch a bit now, and then the game's going to be on, and I'm like, no, I just watched it all the way through because I knew it was going to end about 5 minutes before the game was done, and I wanted to give it my full attention. Now, I'm not sure if I missed story elements to explain the end, though, because I just love the way it was presented. So I might be missing something from a story structure, but from an experience structure I'm talking about, of just enjoyment, of being like kind of mesmerized by how he just lingers on shots. My only quibble is the end.
That's my favorite part. That entire movie.
Used to be something, the first time I saw it, I did not like the ending. This time, paying close attention, I really like it, and I know what Dave's thinking, that nothing should have emerged from that, and it should have been a story of mental illness because that's my cop-out ending. But no, not for this story. Not for the way the story's presented. I actually liked it a lot more this time around because of the ending. Even though I like what comes out and what it represents, I can understand why people might be disappointed because the tension built throughout, the voice behind the crucifix. Well, even though you have to take the crucifix off in order for it to speak, but the voice behind there and what's in there, like the tension and the suspense built up for that, nothing coming out of that will ever match that build up. So everyone's always going to be disappointed.
Well, that's why my ending again. That's why I'm saying, did I miss a story structure that makes it what it is? If we're not going to spoil it, just in case people didn't see it, I don't know. Maybe this is the one time we don't spoil things. Just to find, I thought it would open because I love that. It was beautiful. That
creaking. Yeah, that's.
And I just wanted blackness, and I wanted to end, and I just wanted to end right there. That's not mental illness because we know she experienced it too. We know what transpired, so we know it's something. But I don't think we needed to see anything. It would have been a minute shorter. It's already a short movie, and I think that would have been amazing. And maybe
I can kind of agree with that. I was thinking the same thing watching it even this time, even though there is a line in the movie where Steve is talking towards the end, where Steve is talking to Karen, and he mentions the fact that, it keeps speaking to me. It keeps saying, open the door and you can see her again. So that's what comes out. It's his daughter. He lost his family. He lost his family in a car accident, his wife and his daughter. His wife is the one haunting them in the TV screen. Jocelyn Donahue plays the reflective image in the static.
That's his wife.
Yeah, that's his wife. And then I'm assuming, because he says, I lost them, I'm assuming that's his daughter that comes skipping out, and then goes down the street.
And so then
Okay.
you need that from, I guess, that story structure. Maybe they could have done something where she emerges just ever so slightly from the darkness, and then it just ends. I don't know. I'm not saying I disliked it. I just thought, holy shit, this would have been perfect if it just ended with that image, because that creaking of the door, and maybe even just a reaction of like the cop, like, and then it ends. But with your explanation, I could see why they had to incorporate it. Then I guess.
Yeah.
So is that what he locked up originally, but he never wanted to say because then people would think he was fucking crazy, like even his own brother. Do you think he's gonna say, "Well, I know it sounds like a man, but it's actually Victoria, or whatever the fuck his daughter's name would have been," you know? Because if he says something like that, there's no way he can explain that to anybody, no matter how much someone trusts him, or he's gonna believe it. So did he know that, or do you believe it was transformation at the end?
I believe it was transformation at the end, but now I don't know. That's pretty
No,
cool.
because I would have thought it wouldn't make sense. Then we don't need to have the girl skipping out, because it doesn't mean anything. He locked it up because it was the girl then, and then it means something
Maybe,
to have
yes.
the girl at the end. And then the fact that it's a voice of a man coming is confirmation to him. He's not crazy, and whatnot. And then the wife, experiences it too, the voice. And so I'm just saying, like, a visual representation of it being a girl for us at the end means absolutely nothing.
But, okay, I think the movie just went back up because of that, because of what the three of us deducted could possibly be. I think that's great. But I can't disagree with what you said, C, about if it ended the way with the darkness opening and maybe a look on the cop's face or something. That would have been great. But for me, I always loved it because it's the polar opposite of what anybody's expecting. So when you see, because it's like I always say, you don't want to see a guy with the horns and a pitchfork. You don't want to see some giant fucking beast. You want to see, if you're going to see anything, let it be something that's trippy, like comes out and you're like, and the way they shot it is great because you're not really sure. You see the steps, they go up the back, up the stairs, this and that, until the very last shot when you see the girl outside the house and it's all Christmassy and the lights, and the lighting was great. I thought that was great. The only thing that could have been even softer than that would be like what, a baby duckling or something, but that would have been comical. You know what I mean?
You know, you're right. It is great because a lot of the conversations throughout it, even Steve's dialogue to Maddie and to Karen, he talks about the instinct and the idea of evil is a seed, and that he trapped the seed. So he's not putting a face to this evil. He talks about how, like, man's evil versus pure evil, and he even talks about the accident. He's like, that man, meaning the guy who caused the accident, because you see him in an image, holding the stuffed animal that's bleeding, the rabbit ears. He says that man is not evil for what happened. Evil is what let it happen. So Steve's obsession is with preventing others from feeling what he's feeling, from preventing this senseless evil from happening. So that's why he locks it up. And the dialogue is the film. And if you're not into it, if you're not on board with it, and you get it, he asked Maddie to sort of, trust him and take him, take his word and have faith in him. But, they kind of hint that Maddie's more of like a math teacher, more of like a sciencey type guy. So that's an interesting conflict between a man of faith versus a man of science.
But see, that's great because their performances, like performance in particular of fucking Steve is top notch. He's fucking great. The way he sells the whole film.
For sure.
And because you're watching it and you're thinking, if I'm in this position, do I think he's crazy? Because he seems to still have his wits about him in a certain way. And he'll say, I know this sounds crazy. People that are crazy don't tend to act that way. But then it goes back and forth and he brings the weapons out and then you see he hallucinates something out. So like, okay, maybe he is crazy. You don't know. But his performance either way sells it. He's so fucking good. AJ Bowen is never a slouch. And the girl, what happens with her character is great because she has zero fucking believability. She even said, she goes, you know what, Steve, I love you and everything else, but I just don't believe this. I don't believe in things like this. And no, you put somebody down there and we got to work it out. But then when she goes down there and she hears the voice and then she's convinced. I love what happens with her character.
But that could be a fault of people's expectation. This is where the art or the story overtakes probably a proper reaction, a character reaction, because right after she experiences that, don't you think she would have gone and told her husband? but she doesn't, and she doesn't say anything until he's about to go let the thing out or destroy it or whatever, or I think just open the door to let the guy out, thinking that he's going to help them. And she's like, no, I experienced something weird too. I think that was the only kind of misstep that she should have maybe gone a little earlier, because there's a chunk of remember, this is only an 80-minute movie as well, but there's a few scenes in between, and I thought that's weird. If she experienced that, she should have went right to her husband and said, there's something fucking weird.
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing. She hesitates to tell him. She sort of like almost like whispers it at the last moment while he's confronting Steve, but she's not really like, no, I'm with your brother here. You're right, there should have been that scene.
She said something earlier when they're in a room together, though. She goes, I can't explain it the way Steve can, but I know something's going on behind the door.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
She says. Those are her words.
She didn't say, you're right, and that's maybe all you need, but I would have been like, I can't explain it. I heard a voice. This thing knows something, and it laughed. There was a sinister laugh. Right. I can't explain it. That would have been the dialogue you have. It's like, I don't want to fault the movie, but it knocks it down a peg for me, but a little bit, because it's dialogue spoken for story convenience, I think. And I think if it was this was real life, or if this was a regular situation, there would have been more added to, like that, what she said to her husband.
I think I can explain this. I think there's a couple things that may make it better. Number one, she gets knocked out with the chloroform. So maybe her wits aren't completely about her when she's coming out of it, and she's still kind of groggy. Number two, she is probably shocked by what she saw. And number three, she's probably wrestling with it. Is that what happened, or is that not what happened? Because she is a skeptic. So she has all this stuff going on,
Okay. Yeah.
I'll don't you think it's possible? Yeah. Cool. Because otherwise, she's not going to come out and flip out. If she was like a nervous person to begin with, or someone that's on the teetering or whatever, she can come out right and say, oh, yeah, you know what? I saw it too. But because of her character and the way she's presented and then everything that happens to her, I could see her still not wanting, because obviously they're birds of a feather. Her husband and her, they're very, he's a math teacher, and she isn't entertaining this idea for fucking even an iota of a fucking second.
Matt does before she does.
Right.
She's like, let's get the hell out of here. So for her to be, yeah.
You have to understand a little bit.
No, I know, but that makes even more sense why she would still be skeptical up until, when it's too late.
What about the sorry, what were you going to say?
No, and then what happens ultimately? I knew that proposition was going to come to him. At the end, when they were going to say, what's going to happen? There's still time to save him. As I'm watching the movie, I'm like, this is what he's going to try to sell to get out. And now, sure enough.
Two questions I had. Was all those documentations of like crime and evil and everything like that was pinned up and tied, was it just to say that they're all connected, or were they all making pentagrams?
No, it wasn't pentagrams to my belief. It was just like he came up with some type of right.
He came up with some type of theory that this like evil, this pure evil that's responsible for even just the smallest fraction of misery in the world still accounts for like millions of people.
0.1%.
And he talked
right?
about and he talks about like that one girl who disappeared and then showed back up miraculously, and he's like,
the devil was locked up.
Yeah, exactly. And he says, I think more are going to show up, and I think, and in the end it's proven that he would have been right, but it was just cool to just show like another level
that is
of his
cool.
Of his psychosis, from Matt's point of view, even though it's truth.
Well, because you see it, and you're like, this guy's crazy, but then you're right. So, perfect. I just didn't know if there was more to it. I was like I think I was actually going crazy, because I was actually visualizing that these were making a bunch of pentagrams, which it's not. The second thing, first cop comes down. Why does she shoot? She shoots the cop to not have him open the door, because she's in full belief now that she knows something's evil there. But she doesn't, when he fires his gun, were we supposed to believe that it shot her?
It did, yeah.
Okay.
It's very tough to see, but I think she's like shot in the chest, and then she's shaking her head no when the second cop comes down.
That's the only thing I can make sense of. I'm like, why? What's happening here? And then I wish they made that just a little bit more visible.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
just so you caught that bit more.
But that lighting in the cellar, man. Talk about capturing the Christmas feel. I mean, you could technically say this is a Christmas movie, even though
it is.
It is.
I thought that at the end too, because it has the same lighting. Remember that movie? Again, we're going to talk about that movie, Red Christmas. And one of the things that we liked about it was the lighting, that they were doing the red and the green. And
what was
they
his
did
name?
That here.
What was his name in Red Christmas?
Cletus.
I couldn't.
Yes.
No, you're right. And the cold, the snow, it really captured perfectly for the atmosphere of the time. And just
it's like how inside. It's like how inside.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
and a great idea for like sort of like juxtaposing like the happiest time of year with like the worst thing you can imagine. You know, pure joy of Christmas versus pure evil of the devil.
First-time director.
Yeah.
This is his first movie. He was art director and Dave Made a Maze, but this was his first direct. Like, this is a great debut. This is a great example of a low-budget movie. Like, again, whether you like it or not, besides the point, but I think he did a great job here.
I do too. He directed and edited it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's his fucking project. And the 3 producers are also the top 3 credited actors. So it's a very fucking homegrown thing with these people. It's really cool, man.
And I like that it keeps you guessing until the end, because even the scene where he's seeing his wife and she's blindfolded, and Jocelyn Donahue, and she's tormented and she's like, I can't see anything, and it's a really nightmare scene, and he's saying, you're not real, and he's pointing the gun, and then it sort of like pulls back to reveal that he's actually pointing the gun at Matt and Karen. So that, and then he gives up the gun. Yeah, and when he first gives up the gun, and at that point you're like, shoot, you still don't know at this point. This is pretty late into the film.
You've got to let the movie. This is a movie you don't necessarily want to watch in a group of people. You want to watch it like 1, maybe 2 people, and just have yourself absorbed into the world, and it works perfectly. And that's exactly what happened to me, because I'm like, okay, I went in with probably the worst type of movie attitude, in the sense of like, not that I had no interest to watch it. I'm like, I got to get this movie done because we're recording tomorrow.
Because you're going to watch the game.
And I had to watch the Raptors game. So I'm like, how am I going to fit this in? And I
at least you don't have to watch any more Raptors games.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What a skunk.
I was rooting for them.
Now that they're done, I'm rooting for Boston, man, because, hey, that was a good...
Boston.
Well, no, I've got to root for them.
By nature, I'm always going to say fuck myself.
Usually I do too, but in this case, I'm rooting for them now. I went on the win. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm not like where we were just with what we do in the shadows, but I wholeheartedly recommend this movie. It was a great, again, Kevin, thank you. Great first time watch.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I actually wanted my wife to watch this one too, because I want to see, she kind of likes these ones too that don't spell everything out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think there was something interesting with the voice. It starts out so sort of
it echoes. It has like
and it's almost like it's hurt and it's injured, and it gets stronger and stronger as the film goes on, until the end, where it's like it's taunting her, and it's like it's getting stronger, especially the longer she keeps that cross off of it. It gets stronger and stronger, and it builds, and it's
and that laugh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah,
man.
It's so.
How about that Santa Claus on the TV?
Oh, that was terrifying.
Dude, what there? Creepy as fuck. The way the guy just looked at him. Dude, just like that. Yeah, dude.
I didn't know what the hell that was. But it was like stuff of nightmares, like just a random kind of like image. Like,
I wouldn't have known until I looked it up, and it says Santa and the actor who played Santa, and even in the credits it says Santa and the actor who played him. Because I was like, what the hell is this? Who is this person?
He just had the red on. So
I saw the red. I'm like, but it looked like a feeble old Santa.
You know what this movie reminds me of? It's kind of like the atmosphere and the colors. It kind of reminds me of The Void. Another great independent film. There's just something about it. Typically when they're
subdued.
Downstairs.
The Void goes more balls out, and this is more contained. I guess you could call it contained horror. It takes place in this fucking house.
And I love these kind of movies with just a few characters in the movie, and if you like what's going on with the conversation. Did you guys ever see that movie Pod?
We watched it for this show, or I watched it because it was on your. I thought we did it for the show, or it was one of the options for the show. I think we were given 3 extraterrestrial found footage movies, and we ended up doing not Pod, but I ended up watching Pod as well.
I never saw Not Pod.
Not Pod. Pod is kind of similar to the Lauren Ashley Carter's actually.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's the only Lauren Ashley Carter film I haven't seen.
Oh, you should see it because this reminds me of it. One brother goes to another brother's house, and he has something in the basement behind the door, and there's a similar. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. The entire movie isn't necessarily about it the way this is, but it is a big chunk of it.
We should film our version of this movie in Christian's basement. At the end, the door creaks open, and it's a copy of Goosebumps.
Nice.
I thought it would just be David standing there naked going, I'm waiting.
Dave naked on a treadmill with a rotisserie chicken on Junior.
And we just super zoom into his cock, and it just slam cuts to black.
And instead of my cock, it can either be a rotisserie chicken or Junior. Or my cock rotisserie chicken.
It's called I Trapped the Devil, too.
That's a devilish thing, to think about it. By the way, Junior...
He's got a bigger cock than mine. I'm locking him up in my basement.
I've never seen his cock. We've been through this. Today's the 12th. Junior. I'm not Junior. He's I've done this again. I've
never seen my own cock.
I keep saying Junior, but thinking Lucky, or the other way.
That's even creepier. To be
I've
honest.
never seen Lucky's cock, and Lucky has certainly seen Junior's.
Oh. Anyway, Lucky. Today's the 12th. And that means that in 2 days, it's going to be 1 year since the anniversary of when I found Lucky. It was the 14th.
You mean the anniversary of when you kidnapped him?
Oh, stop. He was going to die, poor bastard.
Wait, what was it? Oh, when they found out about the market? No. What? No. You got so sad. This can't exist in my world.
Anyway, 8.5 for me. I went up. First I was at 8.5, then I went down to an 8, and then I was gonna give it an 8. And the discussion here made me go back up. It's an 8.5 for me.
Yeah, I was a 7 out of 10 last year when I watched it. I wasn't in love with that ending. I just couldn't make sense of it. I guess I wasn't paying attention enough, but I like the theory that it's the daughter, and I like the idea that the devil, the representation of evil, as it's talked about in this film, can be anything. So the idea that it's a little girl skipping down the street and evil is back out in the world and random acts of violence are going to continue to exist, and it's just sort of like quite eerie and unsettling in more ways than if it was like you said, a horned demon or even if there was nothing, because then it puts doubt in your mind. So 8 out of 10, I've come up a full point.
Nice.
I'm with you, B. 8 out of 10. First time I really enjoyed it. Great movie.
And one other thing. I looked up something, and did you know that Sal can actually be short for Salvador, which is Spanish, which would make him Latino?
Oh.
Well, it is short for Salvatore, which was Italian.
Or it could be short for Salvador.
San Salvador? Or El Salvador.
It's fucking crazy that I was thinking of that when I was driving yesterday for work, in between the last recording and this, and I'm like, I can't believe Brandon thought, well, maybe that could be Latino. And I was actually thinking about it at one point.
You know what? I looked it up. I looked it up yesterday.
Every Sal I know is Italian. I got Sals in my family, cousins, fucking. I know so many Sals. Salvatore, Sally boy.
You know what? I looked up Sal, and it's like, okay, of Italian descent. Then there was another one that says Latin of Spanish descent. Salvatore for Italian, Salvador for Spanish, but whatever. It was a good laugh anyway. And a good show.
Salivate for me. It was a great show. It was awesome. And I just want to throw a shout out. We always talk about slasher movies and how they don't make them anymore the way they used to.
Slashers?
Slasher. I don't know what the hell.
We were talking about slasher movies.
Slasher.
I don't usually binge watch shows, and I had watched the first season of Slasher when it first came out and enjoyed it. And I finally went and watched the second season of Slasher, which I think was 2018, 17 or 18. It's great. It's everything. Really? It's got great gore kills. It's fantastic. The only thing that they've done to modernize it, because I'm on the third season now too, is that there's a lot more woke things. Like there's everything. It's full-fledged, lots of gay characters, everything. So I mean, other than that, that's the only thing that's different. But that's just a sign of the times, modern and what we're dealing with now in the reality of the world. Back in the day, they didn't really showcase that in films as much. Other than that, super gory, great moments, good characters, a kind of good whodunit.
Is there a mystery?
It's a whodunit. It's a mystery, and I caught on. I figured out one component of the second season way early on. I'm like, wait, they're doing something here, and I got that, but I didn't piece together everything. So it was still a good reveal at the end. I'm on to the third season now, enjoying it. This one, the cool thing about part 2 is it has a summer camp part aspect to it. So that's what makes it stand above. 3 is doing well so far, but I'll report back when I finish that one. But check it out if they're on Netflix, at least Canadian Netflix for sure. The 3 seasons of slasher, and if you're craving for some slasher goodness, check it out.
It has a different ending in American Netflix.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I've never watched it. I've heard different things about it, but I trust you enough to say I'm gonna go watch it. Have you seen Scream Queens? See?
No, I tried to watch it and I never got into it. But it's another one I'll go try back and.
You didn't get into it? You watched an episode and it wasn't for you?
The very first episode, but I mean, again, it could have just been I'm not one for shows because I know I have to keep coming back, and so like this one, I put slasher and I just binged it by myself. There was nobody I had to wait for or anything. I just was like, okay, and I just watched it all the way through. 8 episodes done.
What is it about
Nice.
EH though that you keep coming back?
Exploding heads.
Said
No.
you said you have a thing for shows. I just
Watch season 1 of Scream Queens. Watch
All
it.
right.
Watch it. Now season 2 is okay. It's not bad because it still keeps Emma and her friend. But season 1, I think, is brilliant. The fucking writing. But you're gonna watch an episode or two, and you're either gonna be 100% into the humor of the way she's portrayed or not. And if you're not going to be, I could see, oh yeah, this isn't for me. But if you can appreciate the type of humor and specifically Emma and the shit that fucking she says and that characterization that she does so well, you will love it, and it's great. But that is old school slasher stuff, front to back, modern, but still pretty solid with a good mystery, who's the killer and everything else.
And that's slasher for sure, modern for sure.
Yes.
And you don't have to start with season
stuff.
1 because there's no continue. Every season it's its own story. So you do not have to start with season 1. So if you want to go right to season 2, go right to season 2.
How many seasons are there?
3.
All right, I'll start with 4.
I want to choke you to death. It's my new saying for you.
I'm going to take 1 second to talk about the future shows because we put everything out there. Everybody picked. This is what's coming next. This was a great show. And again, I'll say it again. Kevin has great taste because the way I rated these movies, an 8, an 8.5, a 9, and a fucking 10. I mean, that's great. I enjoyed all these movies thoroughly. The next show, Demons and Demons 2 and The Fog.
Nice.
And then we go into October. The Lodge, It Follows, and Oculus is one show. After that, It Chapter 1 and 2, and Host. Not The Host. Host, the newer movie on Shudder. Finally a new movie. After that, Fright Night, The Dead Zone, and Waxworks is the next show. We get to do Waxworks.
That's a good show.
That's
Fright Night,
Waxworks.
Dead Zone.
That's not Waxwork. That's a
It's the
different
same
movie.
fucking thing.
No.
No, it's not.
It is. There's a
I
movie
put the
called
movie out
Waxworks.
there. I don't give a fuck. It was picked from my list, and I was talking about Waxwork.
Okay, we'll make sure that's what they
What the
meant.
name of the movie is. I know.
Hey, what's Waxworks?
There's no other fucking Waxwork movie.
There is. There's a movie called Waxworks way before Waxwork was made.
There's a bunch of film. There's a bunch of movies called Waxworks.
Yeah, I think it's even on Shudder. Waxworks.
You mean The House that Dripped Blood?
Yep.
That's a
I'm
good
talking
movie,
about-
but we're doing
talking-
Waxwork.
Yeah, we're doing them. I call it Waxworks. I'm sorry, I fuck up, but either way, that's what it is. What I wrote down in Patreon, and I'm sure John Rhodes, if I'm wrong, and you're talking about some other phantom fucking Waxwork movie, then tell me. Well, do any one you want. How's that? If I fucked up, but I'm assuming he's talking about Waxwork from the fucking 1988. But anyway, and then November. First show is the Purge franchise. We finally get to do that. It'll be our last franchise for a long time. And then week after that, The Rental, the new movie, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and Body Double. So that should
Which Town That Dreaded Sundown, original or newer?
new. It's off the top 100 list.
Oh, okay. No, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And then,
I like
and then
both.
the last show in November, Annihilation, Ghost Story, and Session 9. So
Okay.
there
And
we have it.
the Lodge is new also, 2020.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you're right. So the Lodge, the Host, and the Rental. We finally get some 2020s. Of course, after December we're gonna have our our Christmas, our fucking end of the year, our 5-year celebration, and then next year, after that, we'll be doing our thing.
I'm really looking forward to this year's end of year show because I like the fact. I don't like the fact that all the big Hollywood films got canceled, but I like the fact that I really have no clue. I can maybe guess what Dave's number one might be at this point, but it's gonna be. I think we'll have a lot of similar films because that's just the way it ends up being. But I think we're gonna expose people to some films that they might not have watched. Because
I agree.
It's all just
I don't.
smaller, lower budget.
It's a strange year. I do.
I don't think there's going to be any exposure because I think everybody's been watching the same things.
Really?
Everybody has a different opinion on fucking.
Well, opinion, yes, but nothing in my top 10 is going to be a surprise to anybody. It's just a surprise of where maybe it lands. There's no surprise movies.
Look at it this way. See, just today, Jason Smith talked about 2 movies that he liked, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about them. And I think somebody else, maybe it was B, came and said, "Oh, I like that one a lot too," and this and that. But I haven't heard anybody else talking about them. So I think there's movies out there that they're not getting advertised that some people aren't even aware exist. So if you didn't see that message today, see what I do is anytime I see a message or I'm on social media, I take it and I put it on my watch list on fucking Letterboxd. And then I take time to analyze it later and decide if I'm going to watch it. So if I'm mildly interested, I put it there. But then I'm telling you, I hear about movies all the time that people are watching that I know I'm not going to watch just by my system. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of that going on this year. People just aren't aware. I don't know.
Yeah, but remember, our listenership is the people that are in our group. So it's different than it used to be as well. So it's not like a bunch of passive horror fans. Now it's pretty much the dedicated horror fans that are already in the group and everything else. So it's a bit different than usual. Are we doing a top 20 or are we doing a top 10?
I was initially okay with, I wanted 20, but then as the year was going on, I was like, well, maybe this is the year to do 10. But B keeps selling me on the fucking 20. So
I feel like we not only do we have to do 20, but I feel like I already have 20 films at 8 or above already.
Okay. I think I
might even have more than 20. I mean, granted, I've watched 85 already, and I don't have a system. I will watch a movie that more than likely I know is going to be bad or somebody said it's bad, but maybe I'll take a chance because maybe I'll be different, and most of the time it's not. But I mean, I still have like 30, 40 films left that I want to see. I thought I was going to do like 100 this year. I'm probably going to hit like 125 by the end of the year.
Well, I'm 34 out of 36. Boom. I'm still fucking champion right now. I'm having a great time. So.
And those movies, look, I don't know about Rent-A-Pal. I think that was one Jason brought up, but
yeah, it's on my watch list now.
Feedback I saw months ago, and very good movie.
Feedback, huh?
Yeah, Feedback was one of the others he brought up recently.
Okay, I'll write that one down.
I'm I'm not saying I'm not anti-new movie. I think you guys know that about me. I'm totally, but I'm. This has been the year of going back and revisiting all my old favorites and things that I feel like I missed from way back when, and I'm enjoying that. So my 2020 watches are low, and I'm gonna click along. I'll probably end up with, maybe 40, 50 by the end of the year. I'm not looking to hit a record on it.
I think if you ask Dave and I, someone like Jason, Heather, and Scott, who have watched a million of them already this year, you'll get the right ones. I think 50's like probably a good number to hit for the year if you watch the right ones. You could watch you could just watch all the top contenders. 52
is my goal. I've been saying it all year. I want to do it. I want to do that one a week. I want that to be my average. It's perfect. 52 movies. I might go over because I look at my watch list and I have like fucking 30 movies in it. But a lot of just because they're on the watch list doesn't mean shit. Like I have movies there that are there. And I look at them, I'm like, well, I'm still not convinced. So it's just like, I look at like one person will get a 4 out of 5. They'll be ranting and raving, or they'll be raving about it.
Give us an example.
Okay, I'll do one right now. Okay, let's go to my watch list. Okay, I have 31 movies, 27 are new ones. So I'm going to go all the way to the back, and I'm going to say, okay,
And thank you for freezing.
I froze?
For a second. What was it?
Okay. The first one here is The Siren, okay? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people have watched The Siren. The highest rating, one person gave it 4 stars. Everybody else has given it 3.5 or 3. So to me, one person blowing it isn't enough. I need more. I see that you watched it, B, but I don't see a rank because, I'm just like me. We keep it to ourselves till the end.
That's
it's just going to be hanging there.
That's the people who did They Look Like People. And
they look like people. Okay,
and
all right.
Honestly, I would skip it.
Okay. Now there's this other one. All That We Destroy. There's like 20 people that watch it. One person gave it a 4.5. Everybody else one person gave it a 4. Jason Smith, who's always high on things. Everyone else has given it a 3.5 or less, and a couple people gave it a 2. I don't know if you've seen it, but again, it's not enough for me to say it's a can't miss. It's called All That We Destroy. So I just had them sitting there, hanging out. There's this movie Abracadabra. What has not been given a physical yet. Somehow people have seen it, but
it's on YouTube. It's the guy that
really?
did the Francesca Giallo. It's like
right.
it's there. It's like 50. It's 70 minutes, something like that. It's on YouTube.
Did you watch it?
I was about to watch it, but I haven't yet.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what about this movie. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 6 people that watched it, but the lowest grade is 3.5. And 4 people have given it 4 stars.
So
it's definitely
people love his movies. Like I actually love his visuals. He can't. It's an hour and 6 minutes. The movie, an hour and 7 minutes.
That might be an hour and 7 minutes too long.
Here, I'll send you guys the link.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, now here's Lake of Death. There's like 20 people that have seen it, right?
Lake of
One
Death.
person. Mark Nato gave it 4 stars, but see, Mark Nato sometimes gives movies 4 stars, and I watch him and I don't like him at all, so I don't necessarily trust his high rates. But Mark Nato gave it 4 stars. Sam gave it 4 stars. Everybody else gave it 3 stars or less. So again, I can't fucking pull the trigger based on 2 people out of fucking 16.
I would skip Lake of Death, and I would skip Siren. I did not like either one. Spoiler. Sorry, I just did not.
That's fine. No, thank you. Here's another one. Alive. 1, 2, 3, 5 people have seen it. One of them is B. Mark Nato gave it 4 stars again. I don't know. David Michigan Garrett, 4 stars. So, I mean, then 2 people have 3.5. So it's there. It's just not enough ratings for me to necessarily.
I saw this?
I think that's what I said. Let's see. Oh, no, not Alive. What movie was it?
Alive.
No, wait a minute. Yeah, you saw it. Pixelated Carl, B. Orlick, The Real Mark Nato, Flying Whale 1, and David Garrett. The only people that have seen this movie.
I don't even know this movie.
Okay, well, it's in my watch list, and you said you saw it. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm trying to look it up to see. Oh, okay.
Silhouette. Mark Nato gave it 4 stars. Everybody else gave it 3.5 or less. It's not enough. I just cannot. That's what I'm saying. So they're just kind of sitting around. Now, there's movies that I know for sure I'm going to watch, like The Spree. Everybody's watching this fucking Spree movie, and I see a 5, I see a 4, I see another 4, another 4.
It's just like 4. One of those. I'm a guy in a killing spree filming it. Isn't that what it is?
Oh, Alive with Jeff from Saw 3. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
What was that other slasher movie that came out?
Open 24 hours?
Open 24 hours.
And I saw it.
And then the other one.
And I liked it. There's another one?
Just came out. Oh, fuck. Not Do the Right Thing. But something like, I can't remember that. I thought, I'll have to look it up.
Do the Wrong Thing?
Another slasher, huh? The Owners? Is that a slasher? I don't know.
No.
The Owners is worth checking out.
Is it now? Okay.
Yes.
See, when I look at this, it's got 1. Jason Smith gave it a 4. Everybody else gave it a 3 or less. This one gave it a 2. This one gave it a 2. So I'm like, what the fuck?
I saw somebody giving a 2 to The Owners when I was on Letterboxd last night. I'm like, that's a bullshit rating.
And this Cruel Peter really has me perplexed because I think I've heard you say something really good about it. I think I've heard Scott and Heather say something good. Only one person gave it a 4 stars. Guess who? Mark Nato. Everybody else 3 stars or less out of like fucking 12 people.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was surprisingly good given that cover art, but I think 7 out of 10 might. What, you like the cover art?
Yes, I do.
Oh wow, I thought that would fail your cover art. I thought that was going to be like one of the worst cover arts of the year. I was like, this.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what I like about it? The color of the red.
Oh, okay.
Something about that red. Yeah, but it's
But
really good.
I enjoyed it. But again, none of these would make my list.
You know
All the
what,
movies I just mentioned.
it just seems like people have to be Marco Polo now. They've got to find some hidden gem and announce it to the masses. And I'm like, you know what? If I see it, I see it. If I don't, I don't. I'm gonna watch what I want.
Well, that's how.
Have so much
That's
time.
yeah,
I want to make sure if I watch something, it's list worthy. Like I said, I have 36 in. I'm trying to keep it at 52. I don't want to. I don't have. Okay, look at it this way. Will I be mad if I watch a movie that I give a 7 out of 10 to? No, of course not. But that time would have been better spent watching a fucking 8 or higher, or something that's going to make the list, or an old that I watched other time. I'm not mad at watching because it still counts as a recommendation. But it's like. You know what I mean? If it's just another horror movie and I watch it, yeah, it's pretty good. That's okay. There's nothing wrong watching a movie and at the end saying, yeah, that was pretty good. I just want to, what little time I have, I want to dedicate it to fucking Queen
Yeah,
of
and
the
I think that list of films is all a list of pretty good films. But again, it comes down to your judgment call because look, I mean, I know of 2 movies this year that people are praising and loving that I absolutely did not like at all. And one of them I think I'd be below a 5 on, and people are raving it. And I'm, everybody's different, but I would say of those movies, of the ones I saw on there, they're all good films. Probably none of them are going to make my list, but.
Okay, so that's where they're on my hold. I don't know. Get Duked, I'm going to watch based on
Get Duked was a ton of fun and definitely worth watching.
I'm going to see the ones I said I'm definitely going to watch. You said good call. It was Get Duked and it was 3. I'm definitely watching. There's another movie here called Cut Off. I'm definitely watching Cut Off. Not many people have seen it, but the ratings are all 4 or higher out of 3 people. 4, 4, and a 4.5. I'm watching it, but it's 2 hours long. I just haven't had the time to sit down and watch it. It's more than 2 hours.
Is that about a circumcision?
No, but it's a foreign movie and it's long and there's a heavily mutilated corpse in it. So hashtag alive. I don't know. Every time a movie starts with hashtag, it kind of throws me off. But I'm hearing a couple good.
I'm halfway through it. It's really fun. It's typical Korean zombie so far, but very good so far.
How about Two Heads Creek? Is that the slasher?
Two Heads Creek was a blast.
Is it a slasher? It sounds like one.
It's a comedy. Comedy.
Oh, another
horror comedy. I would put that on par. I would watch that with Get Duked as a double feature.
Really? Do you think I'll like them, or are they going to be too goofy? Should I even bother?
I think you'll like them.
What about The Pale Door?
I'm skipping The Pale Door. It's not even on my list. Go ahead, B. What? Sorry.
I didn't see The Pale Door. I don't like pale. I want a darker door. I'm already pale enough.
How about 122? The only person I saw that raved about it was one person. It was Scott Crawford.
Scott.
And one person gave it a 3 besides him, and Brandon has never rating, but no one seems to have watched it. Is it even horror? It isn't any good.
I'm trying to look at my rating to see. I remember thinking it borderlines in horror. Again, I gave it a 7.
Okay. See, another 7. All right. How about extracurricular?
Extracurricular, I actually
gave it a 4. Everybody
I
else
actually think I gave it. I'm giving away all my ratings, but I
don't
care.
Don't do that.
All right, I gave it a good score. I actually might revisit though. I have a feeling you're gonna love it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're gonna love extracurricular.
Wow. Okay. So I'm glad I mentioned it on the show just now.
Extracurricular is definitely worth checking out. 100%.
Well, if you think I'm gonna love it, then I'm gonna,
I really do. I really do.
I think it's easy to see. I think it's on Vudu or something. Any asshole can watch it, so for free.
Any asshole.
Including
that Christian?
I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
Christian's like, I want to go.
What about everybody blowing that I'm thinking of ending things?
See, I don't want to watch it because everyone I hear talk about it that likes it talks about the book. And it seems like it's one of those movies where you really got to be into the book to know what the fuck's going on here.
Is that even? But that's not a horror movie, is it? Or is
Every
it?
horror fan is talking about it.
I heard it's like Fringe. But that's not the one I was talking about. There's another one that just came out. I think it's for rent now. That is a slasher film. I think Jason Smith was talking about it a week or 2 ago. And I can't seem to find it anywhere here. I know if I go on my TV on Prime, it's there to rent. But I can't, when I try to bring it up on my computer here, it's not giving me the option to rent it.
Well, he blew feedback. 4.5 fucking from Jason Smith. This is one I think I'd watch. There's a couple other 4s on there. There's a 3.5.
Feedback's worth checking out. I'm not as high as Jason Smith, but it's worth checking out. It's got great actors in it. It's got Richard Brake in it. I know you'll like him.
Okay, maybe I already saw that slasher. See, maybe whatever the hell it was. Maybe I watched it because
Like,
I did watch.
It's like something
one.
rough thing. I can't. Why am I not? Get
Rough
Duped is
thing.
here. So to get Duped is available for me just to watch.
Yeah, that's
Amazon.
an Amazon original.
Okay.
Get duped this, yeah.
Yeah. Get Duped is a lot of fun.
No,
I'll tell you what film I really liked. I don't know if you guys will, but Dead Dicks.
Dead Dick. No, I haven't seen that one. Isn't
Very-
it comedy?
No.
No. Okay. I'll look at it again.
There it
Let's
is.
see.
There it is. It is Random Acts of Violence.
Oh, that one. I've heard so many mixed things on it, but Jason and Jamie both really liked it. But I've heard a lot of other people say that the third act is fucking terrible. So I've been.
I would say check it out. Plus, it's got Corbett from Saw in it.
Yeah, I really wanted to see this. So
She's all
I
grown
just
up
couldn't
now.
remember the
Yeah, the
frickin'
little
name.
girl. She's all grown up.
Isn't that a slasher? A slasher? Isn't that a Shudder movie?
Yes.
Did you watch that La Llorona movie on Shudder? Because I was thinking about maybe, but then I heard
I
Venom
watched
say
it.
it's barely a horror movie. It's
I
more like a
watched
drama.
it. I watched it. Yeah, I could see people saying it's fringe, but it's terrific.
Really?
what about
It's
Mark of
terrific.
the Devil 2020?
What's Mark of the Devil?
It's on Shudder as well, or it's on Netflix. Mark of the Devil.
Interesting.
I thought it was a remake, but
No,
Yeah, I
Random
don't-
Acts of Violence. I literally have 25 people that have watched this movie. One person gave it a 4. It was Jason. I told you. we
Holy
already...
shit!
One person gave it a 4.
What are you holy shitting?
Two people out of 25 gave Random Acts of Violence a 4. Everybody else gave it a fucking 3.5 or less.
I would still
is
check
not
it out.
going.
I would still check it out. That Mark of the Devil movie has a 3.2 on the B, and it has Jerry Herring on the cover.
Which movie now?
Mark of the Devil 2020. Tell me that's not Jerry Herring on the cover.
Mark of the Devil was an old movie too. There's been a
Yeah, but this is like a
it's a
2020
remake or
version.
something. Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
ancient?
It's what is this?
1970?
It's Mexican.
Yeah.
The Devil's
of the-
Mark. La Marca del Demonia? That one?
No, Diego Cohen, Mark of the Devil 2020.
It's called The Devil's Mark if you look at it on what do you call it?
Do you see the cover with the red? And that
It
man
does look
on
like
it?
Jerry Herring.
That's Jerry Herring, isn't it?
Yeah, look at people watching.
That's fucking Jerry Herring.
See, it is Jerry Herring.
Okay.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, let me tell you about that one. 5 people have seen it. This is what the ratings are. Mark Nato only gives it a 2.5. Okay, he's the high guy. This Lonely Bob 0, Yori 1.5, James Cowks 1, the horror freak 1.5. This movie's getting fucking dumped on. I'm not watching it. Unless there was a reason to it. Did you say to watch it, B, or something?
No, I was.
Did
just
you say to watch
I
it,
just want you to see the
No, I
cover
haven't
because
seen
of
it.
Jerry Herring.
That's an obvious skip for
If
me.
Jerry
I was
Herring is the
asking
star
about
of the movie, I'll skip it.
Maybe if Jerry Herring is in it and he sells me on it, maybe just to watch Jerry. If I was in a movie, I want Jerry to watch it. So what's fair is fair. So did you see Uncle Peckerhead?
Not yet.
It wasn't
want to,
bad.
though.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But overall, again, I'll say this one more time before we go. I am having a fucked up year where all the stuff that everyone else is just thinking is okay, I'm loving, and all the stuff that I think is fucking just okay, they're loving. This has never happened to me before.
That's good. I like that
don't
because I
know
feel
why.
like I'm having the same thing with some of these movies. So I'm glad. We'll have different lists then.
Yeah, I think we will have different lists.
Christian will have no list. Christian's gonna be like Jeremy with a top 6.
it's not true. I'll have a top whatever. I'm just not blowing the air. It's okay. It's been okay.
Fair. That's fair. It's been okay, but I do have some high rated movies. I do have like 4 or 5 that are like fucking 9. I have some solid flicks.
I really think I know Dave's number 1 already, but save it for the show.
If I say it now, it's spoiler, so I can't do it. But I was gonna say something that I guarantee you're gonna know before the show, unfortunately. But what was I gonna tell you? The Babysitter 2. I'm not gonna watch it based on everything I've heard. But B, everyone knows how much you blow The Babysitter. Are you gonna watch this one?
I already did.
I am.
And I'm gonna say that You gave the first one a what? What was your rating?
It's the number one movie of the year.
Yeah,
I know.
it was a 9.5. 9.
It was a 9.5. I'm gonna go out on a limb with knowing nothing except what I read online. Let's see how fucking skillful I am. And so you're gonna give this a 7.5.
Okay. I already rated it. You were only off by a point. I won't tell you what direction, but you were off by a point.
I'm curious now. Could that Samara fucking cameo really put it that high for you? Well, you do like the comedy, and it's the same type of comedy. Because everything I've heard about it is that it's very much like a retread of the original, but not as good. So, you know what I mean? And doesn't have Samara in it, so I don't know. But and it's more comedy than horror, right? And it's
People
more
are
comedy
fucking shocked about that.
I don't think they're shocked.
But you know what? It's kind of a retread of the original, just not as good. Yes.
That is deceiving.
I will say this.
You're right.
If it becomes my number one film,
shit,
he'll be the star of it. The kid who plays Cole will be in 3 of my number one films in the 6 top shows we did with Babysitter, Babysitter 2, and I See You.
Oh, I See You was good. I'll give you props on that one.
Yeah.
Definitely. Cool.
What I don't want to do is see you two any longer.
That's fair.
I never wanted to see you.
That came out way worse than I meant. It was my segue to end the show.
Yeah, let's end it.
That's fair. That's fair. I got to try to figure out how I'm going to put up all these things in this room and have this horror room completed. And my Friday the 13th room. Da-da-da-da. I can't wait to fucking debut that shit. Yeah,
just do it with the door closed. Good night, everybody. No, so the cat doesn't get out. What are you owing over there?
Because you don't want to see it. Do it with the door. Oh, okay.
Of course,
that's literally how it came off. I was like, yeah, do it with the door closed so we don't have to watch.
Right. Awesome. Okay, well.
I want to see your Friday the 13th room and your racks. No, don't let the cat get out.
Show me your racks. Hey.
Okay.
Oh, you look like Buffalo Bill. Oh.
We love you long time.
Good night, everyone.